What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Hit my finger on there. Oh, I've broken that now. Good evening, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 2nd of May 2026. Hopefully you can hear me and or see me. Hopefully. I'll wait for someone in the chat to say something before I continue blithering on like a fool. That looks like it's working. That's good. I see people are enjoying the intro music or the lack of the old new music. Can you hear me? Yeah. Tanned up Mike. Yes. Looking a bit browner these days. Although weirdly it looks different on CAF's monitor than it does on my preview monitor. It looks quite normal there, but that looks like...
Look quite normal in real life, to be
yeah.
honest.
I think the camera's playing some weird tricks. Anyway. Good. We all working. Perfect mic, unlike message box. Got it. I will remove that now. Hopefully that's gone. Is that gone? Yes, we are gone. Excellent stuff. So, good evening and welcome wherever you are. Like I said, it is Saturday the 2nd of May 2026, and it's a very special weekend for us here at Mike's Unboxing. You might not be able to do those because Kath's got a bad back tonight, so if the lights stay on, you'll know why. And if they turn off, it means she's doing all right. Thank you very much, Arali, for a £20 super chat straight in there. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. He says, I like the new intro music. What, you like the new one, what we played just now, or you like the previous one?
The original or the new?
Yeah, the original or the K-pop. Semrab says, perfect, Mike. Ah, right, okay. Got you. O'Reilly says, it was more catchy, the AI generated one. Maybe we'll put it back. So, yes, this weekend, it's a great one for us here in the UK because it is a bank holiday weekend. So Monday is May Day, where people...
It's not bank holiday,
It is?
so they can have the Monday off after our birthday.
Yeah, officially it is May Day for strange folk in strange garb to go out and dance around a pole and with bells and things attached to them. Whatever. It is, it's a weird thing on May Day. But we also, because it is Kath's birthday tomorrow, Sunday the 3rd, so we used to always tell the kids that they could have Monday off because it is Mum's birthday. It works most of the time. And also, for me, I am a little older myself in a few days' time also. So Kath's birthday is on the 3rd and mine is on the 6th. So I always have to make sure that Kath gets something for her birthday. Otherwise, yeah, I might not. You shouldn't give to receive, but I've been terrible, actually. A bad husband for many years. I didn't buy Kath very much stuff.
Aww.
Very, very bad. And I tried my best, but it's just, I'm one of those people. I'm a only child, and I am quite selfish. And also a little bit autistic, I expect, somewhere along the line. So I don't always kind of think of other people. I try to, but it's not something which always comes completely 100% naturally to me. So
Angel's in.
I do my best. Angel is in the chat. Hey, Angel. Angel's currently on her way back from her holidays in Malta, where she probably won't have quite a good a tan as myself. Very tanned. It's very good. Anyway, so yeah, it is pre-birthday. Oh, it's birthday eve for Kath and it's pre-birthday eve for me. And our combined age is over a century. That's pretty scary stuff. Wow. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud. You should never tell your age. Anyway, with all that said, thank you all for joining us on this bank holiday weekend special. May is a very fortuitous month for us here in the UK because not only do we have Mike and Kath's birthdays, we also have a bank holiday at the beginning of the month and we also have a couple at the end of the month, which is known as the Whitsun holiday. So you get another bank holiday at the end of the month, which is awesome. So yeah, May is a very nice month here in the UK. Temperatures generally are on the up, although having said that, looking outside today, it has been persisting down pretty much most of the afternoon, which actually is good for the garden, so that's good. But yeah, from the last few days that we've had of this week, where it's been in the kind of mid-20s, which is very nice for the United Kingdom, because it's generally single-digit figures, if you're lucky. So yeah, it's been a nice change to get outside, get some fresh air, and actually make some videos outside as well. And spend some time outside just enjoying nature. Well, sleeping on the grass, mainly.
Looking more fun than her.
Excellent stuff. Sarah says, you mean Kath's 45 and I'm 55, Mike? Sort of. Thank you. It's Frizz says, happy birthday in advance. Dutch Jan says, my wife buys her own birthday present. I only pay. Hey, well, that's part of the deal, isn't it? Oh yeah, Mike's Unboxing. Kath is replying at the moment, so if you see any texts from Mike's Unboxing in the chat, that is actually Kath replying.
Said what?
So, because it says there, Mike's Unboxing, I'm older than Mike,
Oh, yeah.
but it's Kath.
Me.
So Kath is a little bit older than me. So yes, it's been
3 days.
it's been pretty nice weather this week, which has been quite good also for thinking about things to do with your computer. Now, unless you've living, well, yeah, if you lived under a rock, or maybe you've just turned off all communication with the outside world, you probably know that PC prices, component-wise, have been spiraling out of control for many months, and potentially will continue to do so. It doesn't seem that there's any real obvious signs of things getting any better, sadly. So what can you do to improve your overall computing and internet experience? Well, that is what I have been aiming to do this week, and some of you, I think I mentioned it in Discord possibly. I've seen this brand around before. The brand is called Cudy, or Cudy. Is it Cudy or Cuddy?
Cruddy.
Or Cruddy. I've got some cruddy knickers on. Ugh. Not very nice thought there. Anyway, the Cudy or Cudy brand is one which I have seen around for a number of years now, and I've always been sort of like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. It's nice to see another brand on the market, etc., etc. They've always been somewhat competitive prices and looked to be pretty decent, but one thing that stopped me purchasing Cudy to begin with in the early days was that they didn't seem to like doing mesh for some reason. And for us here in the UK, where we have very strange built homes, which are normally made of brick, plaster, cement and metal, Wi-Fi signals do struggle quite a lot. And over the years I've gone through, I'm trying to think, I've probably gone through, it's got to be 5 or 6, maybe even 7 different routers and mesh systems, probably about 6 mesh systems and probably about 10 routers, to be honest with you. And every couple of years or every year or so, something else comes on the market and I think, yeah, that's a great idea. Or someone sends me something for review or has something for sale and I think, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll do myself a little bit of an upgrade. And the trouble is, with these upgrades, they always seem to be somewhat excellent at the time, but soon kind of run out of steam, or they just become older models, in which case they're no longer supported. So you may have like a really nice setup, which works really well, but you get to the point where the manufacturer decides, no, we've supported this for long enough, and they just abandon it. And I've had this happen with quite a few mesh systems and routers, which is really unfortunate, especially when you're investing potentially hundreds of pounds into your router or mesh setup, which is super annoying. So that is why I am now looking at Cudy, or Cudy, because they have a very unusual way of doing things, which is unusual in a good way. So this brand actually has a kind of operating system, Cudy OS. I don't think it's called that, but I'm calling it that. But it is actually based on a open source project called OpenWRT. Now, some of you watching this may have heard of WRT or OpenWRT before. It's essentially kind of like an open source Wi-Fi router firmware, for want of a better term, a operating system for routers. So potentially if you've got like a very old router and it's gone out of its life cycle and the manufacturer is no longer supporting it, potentially if you know a little bit of wizardry or know how to use Telnet or SSH, you can sometimes kind of jailbreak your router and install OpenWRT on it, which isn't always perfect. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't work as well. Also, some features may not work as you would intend them to. So it's a little bit hit and miss, but it can be a little bit of a lifeline. So where these are really good is because the operating system of these from the factory is basically a customized GUI of OpenWRT. that means that at one point, when these actually get to be a few years old or whatever, and Cudy decide that for whatever reason, either there's not enough of them on the market or they just can't justify technical support for it, it means you can quite easily update it to OpenWRT and continue using your system. And because it is so closely based on WRT to begin with, the transition is going to be super easy. And they actually do include or allow you to download a file from their website to actually convert one of these units from the kind of factory base condition into a OpenWRT format, which is brilliant. So when you're investing your money, not only you're investing it actually in the physical hardware, of which these are really good, you're also investing it in its lifespan, because these can go on working as long as the OpenWRT source project continues. Then these should still be supported, which I'm all for. Open source stuff getting longer support, keeping these devices from going into landfill or just to be having to be replaced because they're so expensive. Well, at least these aren't particularly expensive, but you know what I mean. It's money that you could otherwise do without spending. So yeah, that is why we will be looking at these tonight. I'm really excited. I've already tried this one and this one together, and I've also tried this one today because it only arrived today. I was hoping it was going to come today, and it was very fortunate that it did. Also, what is a very nice feature of this is they all can mesh together. So Cudy devices, almost all of them of their complete range, will mesh together. So if you want to maybe get one, like a really powerful one, and then put that somewhere in the house, and then you find that, well, actually there's a couple of dead spots in the house, you can then get another unit and add it on as a extra mesh unit. And the beauty of it is, a lot of mesh units don't always take all of the bands over. Now, some of you probably remember seeing the TP-Link version we did a little while back. That was really good, but when you meshed the devices, it only sent the primary SSD. It didn't do like the guest one or the IoTs or whatever. So yeah, not great, hence why upgrade. Another super chat or a donation via PayPal from Mark Gaines. Thank you very much. He sent us £50. Wow, thank you very much. And he's got a note there. Note from Mark. A little support for the channel. That is a lot of support, Mark. Thank you so much. You are extremely generous. God bless you. And all those that sail in you. So that is one of these units paid for. I'm just getting two to pay for now. Anyway, so that is kind of where we're at with these. I really like them, and there's loads of different options, loads of different models to suit different price points. They're actually not that expensive. I was thinking that these would be like, because of all the features they've got, they would be super expensive, but they really aren't. And you can often get them on deals from Amazon and places like eBay. And of course, if you are interested in any of this stuff, Kath's already gone ahead and put some of the links in the video description, so you can check them out and see what prices are like near you. I like these a lot. I think you're going to like them as well, so that is why I wanted to show them on the channel. And I should say as well, none of this is any way, shape or form sponsored. Cudy have no idea who I am.
That's what you call them, Cruddy.
Or Cruddy, yeah. So that's why I can call them whatever we like. That is the deal. Lead Farmer says, how could he be so affordable? Now that is good. I might use that one. Can I steal that one? Yes, Kath.
Aeon, is that how you say it?
Aeon. Hey, Aeon, is any Wi-Fi faster than Ethernet, or is it all lies? So many people think that until they get told that their laptops or TV or whatever is extremely up. I'm not entirely sure what you're saying there. Wi-Fi can be faster than internet or Ethernet, depending on what Ethernet you've got. So, yeah, it's not always an entirely kind of straightforward thing. The thing is, you are ultimately going to be limited internet-wise by the speed of your incoming broadband provider. Now, here we're using Virgin Media, and we're on the 1 gig tariff, or whatever you want to call it, the 1 gig setup. So our internet will only ever be like 1100 megabytes per second, or yeah, megabits per second.
He's put a bit more at the bottom.
Sorry?
He's put little bit more info at the bottom.
Oh, right, okay.
Or she.
Sorry, just read that. My fibre internet comes in and puts everything from that box to only mesh Wi-Fi. The units have Ethernet port, but nowhere near the speed it should be. Yes, that is a lot of the problem. Depending where you are and where you live and the surrounding environment, your Wi-Fi speeds are never guaranteed. And also, depending on how many people are using the system. So, best case scenario, you have a router directly connected to your modem. You live in a detached house without influence from other people's Wi-Fi, and you're the only person singly connected to that Wi-Fi. There's a strong chance you're going to get pretty much most of your speed. There is a little bit of overhead, as there is with Ethernet, so you don't always get the full speed. But with Wi-Fi, especially with Wi-Fi 7 and Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E, you are looking at getting kind of pretty much all of the speeds you can from gigabit or multi-gigabit Ethernet, or internet, I should say, rather. Which is also another reason why this is so good, is because this is something which I've struggled to find. This has, on the back, 4 Ethernet ports. Yes, 4 Ethernet ports, all of which support 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. So you can have an incoming signal of up to 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, so essentially a 2 gig broadband, and then you can actually have it coming back out as well, because that is like a weird thing. There's loads of routers on the market which have a really fast incoming port for Ethernet, like 1 gig, 2.5 gig, 5 gig, 10 gig even, 20 gig, but rarely do they actually have an outgoing port which will match that speed. Which means, like, yeah, it's fine for your wireless users because they can get some pretty decent speeds, but anyone who's on the wired Ethernet is going to be limited to probably gigabit, which is 100 megabits per second. Which, like, if you're spending a lot of money on your broadband, you're actually reducing the potential for the rest of your system. And especially if you're someone who has a NAS, which I'm seeing more and more, especially due to how much online storage costs these days. So if you've got a NAS, you don't want to be sat around for hours waiting for like gigabit or 10100 Ethernet speeds to transfer your data. That's going to take you forever. With this, you can use 2.5 gigabit and have effectively 2.5 times faster transfers, which is awesome. Or if you're just transferring data from one PC to another, it can still be much, much faster. So yeah, having 4 times 2.2 gigabits per second is awesome, and it's not shared. They can all use that amount of bandwidth at the same time, which is absolutely awesome. Yes, Kath?
Matthew Daces, have you got any Wi-Fi 7 devices?
Yes, Wi-Fi 7 devices, I have a few. So I've got my phone, so there. So I've got the iPhone 16 Plus. Kath has all as well, so that'll support Wi-Fi 7 MLO or multi-link. Also in my video editing PC, that's got Wi-Fi 7, I think. This one's got Wi-Fi 6E, which kind of, for all intents and purposes, speed-wise, is very similar to Wi-Fi 7 in kind of the real world. And also, Andy Archer, ages and ages ago, sent me over a little Wi-Fi USB, which I've got here somewhere. Yes, I have. Which I've never actually been successfully able to test properly with a Wi-Fi 7 router. So now I have that, and I will be able to test it. So this will do up to 6500 speeds, Wi-Fi 7. I'm not sure if it does MLO. Text is a bit small on there, but anyway. We will definitely be trying that out at some point as well. Billy Bob, are those Cudy devices running OpenWRT? I believe they are. I believe they are. Well, it's a customized version of OpenWRT. What you can do, if you want to kind of get ahead of where we're going to be looking later on, if you go to the Cudy website, so cudy.com or cudy.net, whichever you want to do, if you go to the support section or downloads, you can actually run an emulated version of their routers in your browser. So you can go through, look at all the settings, look at the layout, etc. If you've used OpenWRT previously, you'll have known, or you would have used what they call the Lucy operating system, or the Lucy interface, LUCI. And essentially this is what these are running, just a customized version of it. So yeah, it's very easy to get hold of, very easy to access. Support is great. I don't understand how they're doing this for the money. I really don't, because they seem to be ticking all the boxes. Like, even the processor inside of this is faster than a mobile phone of a couple of years ago. And that mobile phone had to run an entire operating system and videos and calls and all that kind of stuff. And that is what is in here. So these are using an ARM A53, I believe it is, or A63 quad-core processor, which, yeah, is madness if you think about it. Mark Gaines. Question, Mike. Is that Cudy BE1100 wall mountable? Yes, it is. Yes, on the back there is the wall mount sections, and also you've got the ventilation on there as well. 6 antennas. They are all posable, so if you are going to put it up against the wall, you can sort of modify the antennas for the best output that you can get. Wrong way, that way. So yeah, you can go to town with these things and set it up kind of pretty much however you like. Obviously, as long as you can get connections into it, it is fully wall mountable if you want to do that. Yeah, I think these are incredible value for money. Talking of value for money, I picked this one up for £108. That was from eBay, and it was classed as a open box. So I was very pleased with that for £100. If you were to buy one brand spanking new on Amazon at the time of recording, Amazon UK, £149.99, which is a reasonable chunk of cash. Let's not beat around the bush. And there are often offers on, so 20% off, whatever. Quite often you can see them sort of 120, 130, 140 maybe. But for the features you're getting, and for the kind of the longevity or the longevity potential you've got from this, I think it's great. And also the flexibility you've got of the Wi-Fi bands is insane. So SSD wise out of this, you've got 2.4 gigahertz, you've got 5 gigahertz, you've got 6 gigahertz, and you've got MLO, or multi-link operation. You've got SSDs for each one of those, and you can split them as well. So you can have like a guest network as well, and you can split that into, I think that's 3, yeah, you get 3 bands on the guest network, 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz. So if you want to set up a guest network on the 2.4 gigahertz, you could use that for like your IoT devices, like your smart devices, your fridge freezer if it connects to the internet, your TVs possibly if you wanted to, smart devices like cameras, light switches, all that kind of stuff, which you don't really want on your main network. And like some of these dodgy no-name brands, you never quite know what's going on in the background, what data they're sending out. So you can stick that on a separate network, on your guest network on the 2.4 gigahertz, which they'll all happily communicate on, and it separates it from your main network. And because you're separating that from the traffic for your kind of your main network, obviously it's not going to impact that. So that again is pretty awesome. And you've still got another 2 guest networks you can use, like the 5 gigahertz and the 6 gigahertz. So you can set up for your guests, just have a guest Wi-Fi on Wi-Fi 5. Do they need Wi-Fi 6? Maybe not, but it's an option. It's all there if you want to use it. You don't have to call it guest library, you can call it whatever you want. And just because it's in the guest section doesn't mean that it has to stay there. You can just call it my network and just use it if you want to. You've got the safety of it being separate from the other networks should you want that. The software is awesome because it's using OpenWRT, which is, again, this is like an open source piece of software, firmware, operating system, whatever you want to call it, which has been in use now for, I want to say getting on for 15 years, maybe more.
I think Sky's talking about over 20 years.
Maybe it is, yeah. It's at least 15 from my knowledge, Because I remember looking into it when I was, actually no, because I was still at Casualty at the time. So 2007, 2008. Wow. Yeah, best part of 20 years. So it could be longer than that as well. It's awesome. I love it. It's great. David says, Mike, your guest network data still goes through the same network interface and firewall, so any dodgy traffic still has access to the main network.
And you put one above.
I didn't think that was the case. I thought the guest network was isolated. That being the kind of the whole point of it. Anyway, above it says, Mike, ARM-based CPUs are mega cheap. Any device pricing is not based on the CPU cost, more the other components and marketing costs. Fair enough, yeah. Ad blocker and stuff in router. No, there isn't. Well, yes and no. You can, of course, use a DNS provider which blocks ads at the router level. You can, I guess you could use DNS to do that, or you can use a VPN because it has support for both VPN server and VPN client. So potentially you could do it that way as well. There isn't a specific ad blocker section in here as far as I'm aware, but I think if you kind of wiped it and put in the OpenWRT, there's loads and loads of plugins for OpenWRT as well. So potentially if you want to go down that route, there's probably going to be a plugin for you that will do exactly what you want. But again, what I really like about this is the fact that it's all very mix and match. Unlike other examples like Netgear, for example, who do some really good stuff. But if you want like a Wi-Fi mesh with maybe 3 nodes, you're looking sort of £600-700 for a Wi-Fi 7 version these days, which is just insane money. And also, that may not be practical because then you've got 3 identical units, which, like, do you want 3? I like the flexibility. So, like, this one is going to be in the main incoming part of the house, because where it is hidden away. So, yes, it's pretty ugly, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be hidden out of sight and it's just going to do what it needs to do. Whereas other places in the house where I might want to put one of these are a little bit nicer looking. As you can see, you've got that kind of cylindrical look, which looks like a vase or something from a distance if you squint a little bit.
Shut your eyes.
Shut your eyes and count to 10. Looks just like a vase.
Can you answer?
Or a vase.
Can you answer Senrad's question at the bottom, because I think you're getting there anyway.
Question: do you have the black BT? Oh, do you have to have? No, you don't have to have that to have the units. Essentially, you can use whatever you want. It's very much mix and match. So if I wanted to, I could have this one as the main one coming into the house, and then I could put this one in George's room, for instance, because George's room looks like a shithole anyway. So yeah, it's fine. Looks like a dehumidifier, mini trash can. It is. Yeah, the downside of this,
you don't have to use the black one at all, do you?
No, you don't have to use the black one. If I don't want to use that, I could just buy this one or a couple of these. These actually sell in multi-packs as well. So these are again £149. A twin pack's £299. But there's always deals on these on Amazon. So as of yesterday, the deal ended. I managed to get this just in time for £120 it was. So save myself £30 straight off. Awesome stuff. And this one, which is also compatible with the mesh, but this is only a dual band. So the other two are triple band. So 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz. This one is only a dual band, so 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Now there's a very good reason why I wanted to do this, and it also goes some way of kind of getting the point across of the flexibility of the system. So the way I want to have it set up in the house is this one is going to be at the front of the house, doing pretty much most of the heavy lifting, to be fair. And I have tested this, the signal goes absolutely miles. It's actually insane how powerful the antennas are on this, and there's 6 of them, so that's pretty good. So that is going to be at the front of the house. Potentially this will be in the middle, and this one will be at the end of the house. So our house is quite narrow but quite long, and the garden's quite long as well. So I want to get a little bit of range out into the garden, especially now we've got the nicer weather, as you can tell by the tan. So yeah, this one I'm going to put at the back of the house. I'm going to put this one at the front of the house, And if there's any kind of weird dead spots, which there really is in this house, it's a really bad design, because like this room here, it's hard to explain it, but it's basically the house is kind of like a weird L shape, and the kitchen and George's room go further out into the garden area. Then it comes back at like an L shape, and then you've got like the normal kind of square bit of the house. So yeah, it's kind of like a Tetris shape. And because of that, if you put a router in some places, because of the amount of brickwork and metalwork for where the other part of the house is, it's not like an extension, but kind of similar sort of setup in effect. But because it's long as well, obviously a Wi-Fi router is designed to kind of give almost like a dome effect of where it's actually sending out the signal. Now, dome's great if you live in a house which is pretty much square, or you can get one of these dead center in the middle of your house. You're still probably going to have some dead spots around the circumference somewhere. But yeah, because it's got a longer house, so that's why we need multiple units. We've always had 3 mesh devices pretty much forever in this house, because it was always the case of you could either get really good signal at the front, really good signal at the back, or really good signal in the middle. And yeah, you had to have 3 devices. Now I'm hoping with these, with the extra power, and also the benefit is, like if you take this out of the equation and just take into account these two are really powerful. So there's a really strong chance that they are actually going to be strong enough that the signal's going to overlap in the middle, and it's going to be absolutely fine. But what the real key thing is this, and I don't think a lot of people are taking full advantage or fully aware of it, is the 6 GHz band supposedly isn't supposed to be very good at penetrating. That's a word you don't hear very often on a channel like this. But I've found from my own testing and going around, because there is a Cudy app as well, which I will quickly fire up on here so you can see it. Actually, I can't because I've disconnected that account. But yeah, there's a Cudy app which you can go into. So everything you can do on the website, you can basically do in the mobile as well if you need to. But I walked around the house and doing testing out in the garden, and the 6 GHz spectrum seems to go a lot further. Now, I think a lot of that is because of what people have said previously, is that the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz spectrums are really, really congested. And 6 GHz is relatively untouched. And where we are here, I know our neighbours next door, they've got Virgin Media, and they're still on their first Virgin Media Super Hub or whatever it is. So that definitely hasn't got 6 GHz. That side next door, they've had a new Skybox a couple of years ago. So they're definitely not on 6 GHz. I think there might be one a couple of doors up. But for us, the 6 GHz spectrum is pretty much wide open. And it seems to pass through. And in fact, actual fact, I was up in the toilet and I was checking the signals, as you do, because toilet browsing's a thing, right? And the 6 GHz signal was actually stronger than the 2.4 GHz, which doesn't actually make any sense at all, because 2.4 GHz is supposed to be the slower one, but is easier to penetrate through walls because of the actual frequency of the waves, or the radio. So 2.4 GHz goes further, but is slower. 5 GHz is faster, but has problems penetrating some things like brick, stone, etc. And 6 GHz is kind of an extension on that, so it's much faster, but shouldn't have as much penetration. But it does seem to. The 6 GHz band on these seems to be absolutely incredible. So I don't see why I would want to use 2.4 GHz at all, being that it's so congested, because 2.4 GHz is all of your smart devices. Bluetooth is on 2.4 GHz. You've got your microwave, maybe a garage door opener, a clicker, a baby monitor. All those types of things tend to be on 2.4 GHz. So if you can get your stuff away from 2.4 GHz, you're probably going to have a much better time of it. And if you're lucky enough to not have neighbours which are also using Wi-Fi 7 or 6 GHz, then you may find that your signal is actually much better than you even anticipated. So that is another great thing. And it's not going to cost a fortune. Matthew Day, he's a bit of an expert when it comes to networking. What was he saying? Matthew Day, what time is it?
I don't know, good. I can't.
Matthew Day had a comment, and I cannot see. Where was it? I'll just scroll back up.
8:45.
8:45, that's ages ago. Let's have a look. Matthew Day, question. Have you seen the Xiaomi router BE3600 on AliExpress? Claims to be Wi-Fi 7 for $37.49. Are they lying? No, it is Wi-Fi 7, but it's not 6 gigahertz. It's still using 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So that is essentially the same as the TP-Link models that I used previously. The BE3600s are dual band. And being that they're the Xiaomi ones on AliExpress, sometimes they don't always work as they should, or they come and they're in like a Chinese language. But I have actually looked at those, and I was considering the Xiaomi BE3600s, because for the money, you can't go too far wrong. But they were limited, they only had gigabit Ethernet ports on them, which isn't a deal breaker for a lot of people, but for me it was. So if it doesn't have dual, at least gigabit, dual 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports as a minimum, for me, it's not a contender. It has to have at least 2. So one going in and at least one coming out to make it worthwhile doing. Otherwise, it makes my network kind of useless for what I do with it. Yeah, so that hopefully has answered that. Senrab. What time is that? Oh, question. If a PC uses Wi-Fi to connect to a network, is there a way of upgrading the Wi-Fi M.2 card? Yes. Pretty much all Wi-Fi cards inside of laptops and computers are on like almost like a NVMe style card. I think it's an E key, M.2 E key. And yeah, essentially it's generally just a matter of finding a newer Wi-Fi module and installing it, and hopefully having the drivers for it. The drivers tend to be the most problematic thing. If you're getting a more modern unit, depending where you're getting it from, sometimes you can find sellers who actually sell the Wi-Fi card and the kind of installation kit and will ship a driver with it as well. Those are the ones you probably want to be looking at. Keith McAllister. What time was that?
We scroll to the bottom, it should be still in that little box.
All right. Keith McAllister. Keith McAllister. Keith McAllister. There we go. Hi, Mike and Kath. Don't mean to bring the tone of the evening down, but you both remind me of me and my wife. We used to build PCs together. I'd build them. She'd do the software. Hate software. Lost her May 23rd. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. May 23, sorry. Very sorry to hear that. That is, yeah, when it's your kind of losing a partner, I've been fortunate that I've not experienced that. And for those that have, I cannot imagine what it's like trying to readjust to life without them, because you spend so much time with them. Now, I know there's the kind of the comedy people that you see, like Jack and Vera, the Duckworths on Coronation Street, where they kind of hate each other, but even then they still care for each other. So if you're someone who's very, very close to your partner, which you probably are, then yeah, it must be a very gut-wrenching thing to go through. So hopefully you find some peace and some happiness somewhere, somehow. It's very sad. I noticed somebody actually asked about firmware. Greg says there as well, remember you need to get firmware updates for your routers. If you ever get updates, are known exploits being patched? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Now, that is a very good question, and actually another reason why I decided to go with this brand rather than others. I've been bit before. Like I said earlier in the stream, I've got some Netgear routers or a Wi-Fi mesh, the RBS50 and RBK50, which I bought off of, I think it was Kev on the Discord ages and ages ago. And those were really good. Very good range, very good signal. But it got to the point about a year ago, I think it was, where they stopped being supported. Now, they did actually release reasonably recently like an emergency patch. So I think it must have been a pretty bad one. So that is one of the things that puts me off about some brands. The fact that, like, when they do stop supporting their devices, you're essentially left on your own. That is it. You're that's, yeah, you're done, basically. Now, if you don't care about the internet or vulnerabilities or any of that stuff, then don't worry, that's fine. Just carry on using whatever you like. You're all good. But if you're someone who does like internet shopping, internet banking, you use eBay, you've got your bank apps on your phone or whatever on your PC, then like it's kind of your own due diligence to make sure that you're using safe and secure stuff. Like,
and then you're saving your passwords on other people's computers.
All right.
There's both sides.
Yeah, there is that to it. But yeah, essentially that is one of the reasons why I like this, because again, because it is essentially a tweaked version of OpenWRT. If they decide, like I said, a couple of years down the line, or even next year, they decide like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. You just install the kind of the default OpenWRT on it and benefit from those updates. And the updates on there, the way that OpenWRT works is really good. That once you've installed the kind of like the core of it, the actual update side of it is like modular. So you can stay on the same kind of version of the operating system, but you can kind of like push in a security fix or patch to the system, which is a pretty cool way of doing it. So you don't have to go around flashing every device. Now, I will say as well, these do have an automatic update feature. So if there is any security vulnerabilities that are found or need to be patched or updated, it will give you an update either on the app, or if you go into the user interface, potentially if you sign up for a Cudy account, which you can do if you want to do remote monitoring of the system, it will give you an email or a message to say, look, there's a new vulnerability, here's the new firmware, off to the races type thing. So yeah, that is fine. Also, you can turn that off. You can turn off the automatic updates, and you can just do the updates manually when you see fit, which again is pretty cool. The slight downside is if you do the manual side of it, you have to do each router or each box individually, which is a bit time consuming, but it does give you control. A bit like Windows Update. So if you want to update manually, you can do, and you go around to each PC and update it when time is right for you, or you just leave it on automatic and let it go ahead and do its thing. Hopefully that answers those questions. Aeon says, Mind Forces updates, cutting internet for 10 minutes at a time. Yeah, that is like, well, perfect timing for that. This is, again, you can choose whether or not it does automatic updates or whether or not you take control. OpenWRT is a very, very nice kind of interface to use. Now, it isn't overly pretty. That is the one thing I would say does go against it. And there's also one or two things about it which I would like to see improved, which no doubt it will be at some point. Something which is a little bit annoying, but is one of those kind of things where I can understand why they haven't paid too much attention to it. The lights on the routers. Now, the lights on the routers, like on this one, you got 4 blue LEDs, which will be brighter than the sun, especially obviously when it's dark. The only options you've got is you can either have the lights all on or you can have the lights all off. There isn't a setting so that they turn off like nighttime hours, which I've seen on other devices. Realistically, do you want to be bothered about that too much? If you don't like the lights, just leave them all off. You can configure it individually, so each node or each module or mesh unit, you can decide whether the lights stay on or whether they stay off. There is a little bit of flexibility there, but yeah, it's a very nice system. I like it a lot, and I'm very, very excited to finally get my network set up how I want it to be set up, rather than kind of, you know what it's like. If there's something you want to do, if it costs a lot of money, you don't do it, and you just do what you have to do to get things working. But for now, this I think is going to be the kind of, I don't want to say end game, but really, really close to being that end game setup. And there are loads of different devices. So if you don't like this one, or you don't like that one, or you don't like the other little one, then there are lots of different ones. There's exterior ones, there's access points, there's all sorts. So you can kind of really build out a system. And the mesh units, I don't know if there is actually a hard limit on how many you can have. I've not come across that yet. No one's mentioned it. I'm assuming there would be, but how many, I honestly don't know. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Is there any questions? Let's have a look. Keith says, having to learn software the hard way, don't laugh. Your channel helps. God, can't help you. Just ignore me. Might have had too much wine. You knock yourself out.
Mark Berry talked about losing their partner and Des lost their partner in January.
I'm sorry to hear that. Loss is a terrible thing. I've been very blessed that, like, there hasn't been anyone that I am, like, extremely close to that has passed away in my life ever yet. I've probably just jinxed that now. Hopefully not. But yeah, I've been quite blessed in that regard. Yeah, Des says, I lost my partner in 11th of January 25 to a stroke, and yes, it's hard to get over. Sorry, Des. Well, we're all here for you, whether you like that or not.
She was only 56.
Struth. Ira Wolfman says, I'm back on my Vodafone Wi-Fi 7 router. That's how bad the Asus was. RTBE92U, completely busted firmware. Funny enough, the Asus ones were ones which I did have on my kind of short list for the reasons that they do pretty much what these do, but they were quite expensive. Asus WRT is a bad version of OpenWRT. Oh God. Yeah, actually, yeah, I thought that was the case. Actually, speaking of what, let's have a quick look, because I think you've heard enough about these now, haven't you? Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll take this one out of the box before we do that, just so you can see what the other one looks like, in case you're not completely convinced that you want a big black monolith router. I think these are quite nice. So this is the BE, which one's this? This is the B. Now, they've kind of got some stupid ideas when it comes to product naming. So if you were to look at this box, what would you say is the model number? I'm going to wait. I'm going to see who says it in the chat. Because, like, from the box, you would assume... Yeah, Greg says there, the BE 1100. You would think that, wouldn't you? Because it's the biggest number on there. But they've taken a leaf out of... the kind of the Advertiser's Guide 101, and that is make the speeds the prominent thing. So that is actually the speed. So 1100 actually is the megabits per second that this can do. And that's why, so if you see it like a B5600 or a BE3600 or whatever it is, 9300 is a common one. That is the combined speed of all the networks. So that is where you get that number from. The actual model number is just there in tiny ass writing. And this is technically the M1100. Oh, sorry, M11000. So the model number is there, and that's the speed it can do. So yeah, that is advertising for you completely. And for this one, so the BE3600. Obviously, from an advertiser's point of view, you would call this the Cudy BE3600, which I did in the description and when I've been talking about it. But it's not. It's the M3600. That is the actual model number at the bottom there. So it is very confusing. And also, this one here. This one is also the BE 1100. Sorry, 11,000. But obviously, it can't be because that's that. But no, this... The model number is just down here in tiny writing It's actually the WR11000. So yeah, extremely tiny. So the way they make up those speeds, so the 6 gigahertz will do up to 5800 megabits per second. The 5 gigahertz will do like 4,300 and change megabits per second, and the 2.4 gigahertz will do like just under 700 megabits per second. So that is what they kind of round that up to, just so you're aware. Somebody said there the WR2100 looks good. It does look good, but it's pretty expensive. Rasher says, my wife got very sick, nearly died. Oh dear. Was in the hospital for 10 months. She's okay now, but will never be 100%. I'm still looking after her. She's not too bad now. Good for you. Caring is sharing, as they said on Monsters Inc. Oh dear. Iroman says, WR is the black one. The website shows the white tower. Yeah, that is why it's really confusing. Like, their model names need some serious work on them. But, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. So, I'm going to quickly put this away. And then I'm going to show you what the actual user interface is like. And you can do it yourselves if you want to. I said there is a link on the Cudy website and in the download section where you can just basically run a virtualized version of their routers and check out the software.
With BE Wi-Fi 7.
Yes. Yeah, BE is basically Wi-Fi 7. So you had like A, B, G. I'm trying to think what the others.
You've got like a toddler saying the
Yeah,
alphabet.
basically you had all those Wi-Fi standards in you. Wi-Fi B, G, N comes to mind, AX, etc. So like when you have motherboards like the gigabyte brands, they quite often were like the B550 gaming Wi-Fi AX because it had an AX chip in there. So BE is basically the kind of the Wi-Fi 7 kind of substandard, if that makes sense.
Riley's just put them all in.
Ah, there we go. Thank you, O'Reilly. Yeah, A, B, G, N, AC. That's the one I didn't think of. Yeah, AC and AX. So BE is the next progression of that. Righty. Right, let's have a look and see if I can find this Cudy firmware. Cudy.net, is that the one? No. It's because I've been using this on my my setup for quite a while now. Where are we? Support, download center.
Hello. Where's Soaking Wet Candy?
Support. Oh, emulators. So I'll show you the screen now so you can see it.
Oh, Candy's coming to see you.
There's Candy. Hello. Oh,
She's soaking wet.
you got a soaking wet pussy. Calm down, Aletta.
Have you come down, flapping your tail over the camera?
Right. Is that showing it? Yes, there we
Where's
are.
your mum?
So I can see the chat and you can see it as well. So if you go to Cudy.com, the English site, and go to support and go to emulators. And that is all the models which can be emulated, routers wise. You've got extenders, access points, etc. So we'll go with the WR1100 because that is one of the ones that I am using. And so you can log in. I think you default password.
Let's drinking your coffee.
Candy.
You're not allowed to have cooked food.
Right, don't want to say that. So this is what the user interface is like. So it's not the nicest. Candy. Candy, don't drink my drink. You like that, don't you? Bad girl. Anyway, so there we go. That's the system status. So for here, this is where you set up your mesh. So if you want to add a mesh device, you click on there and you can add another mesh device. It tells you how to do it. So it's all very simple, very easy to do. If you click on clients, it shows you how many are connected and what devices they are. So gives you the information about them. You can also VPN them and internet them, turn those on or off if you want to there. Yeah, it's all pretty self-explanatory. So you've got the status of the router, and if you go in there you can find out more details, the mesh as well, devices, blah blah blah. So you've got your WAN, you've got your LAN, you've got your wireless 2.4, you've got your wireless 5G, you've got your wireless 6G, your VPN if you want to use a VPN. You've also got DHCP server settings and system settings and the firmware. The firmware is out of date on this one. iRolfman says it's OpenWRT, that's what it is. Yep. And so when you first get it, you'll end up at this page, so the quick setup. Now this isn't right for this particular model because you've got the options there for WISP as well, which is the wireless internet provider. So this will look a bit different, but essentially, yeah, you can go into here, set up all your Wi-Fi details, your area, etc. What sort of WAN mode, and then you can put in, oh sorry, that's PPOE, so I can't do it on there because this should be DCHP. So you do next, you've got your SSIDs, so you can choose what they are. So you've got your 2.4, your 5 gig and your 6 gig wireless. So you can go ahead and change the settings in there if you want to. Once you've done that and clicked on next, it will update the settings, and then you'll essentially come back to, system status. So that gives you all of your information at a glance. You then go to general settings, so you've got options for your WAN mode, your wireless settings, so you've got your 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. If you want to, you can use Smart Connect, so it basically just gives you the one SSID. You've also got this one here, 6 gigahertz, and also you've got your MLO, so you can decide whether you want that on or off. If you want to, you can just have all the SSIDs be the same, and your device can decide what it wants to connect to, but I like they got a bit of separation there. What flavor of VPN protocols are supported? Looking for native WireGuard. Well, let's have a look. So I think, yeah, WireGuard, client and server. So Billy Bob, this should do it for you. So if you want to have a VPN, you can enable it or disable it, and you can choose allow or ban, and yeah, all those options there. So if you want to use OpenVPN, you can do WireGuard, zero tier, all that stuff, or you can set up your own, or you set up servers, etc, etc. So VPN is pretty self-explanatory. Captive portal, you can enable that, so there's actually, you can make it so there's a portal for each part of the network, which you can then use a radius ID to log into. So for some businesses, this will be pretty good to have a radius server and have interfaces for each part of the network. Most people won't use that, so I'll disable that. And then you've got your firmware updates. You can choose auto update, or you can choose to upload it. If you check for an update there, it probably won't find it because this is emulated, so it's not going to look for it, but maybe it will. Wonder if it'll do it. If not, you can download them and click on browse, and you can tell it where the new firmware is, and you can update it manually there. I think that's going to time out, so we'll ignore that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for general settings, so pretty self-explanatory. You've got your parental control, so if you want to lock down the system, you can do. Where it gets really funky is this, the advanced settings. So there's a whole load of things you can go through here. So you've got your LAN, your guest network. So again, with guest, if you want to use that, you can enable that and say maybe you want to change that to IoT. Have it for IoT devices, and just have, well, you could leave it wide open if you wanted to. The choice is yours. Also, you can choose it to be hidden, so it doesn't display the SSID. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Also, you can have the 5G and also 6G guest networks as well, and you can have those on different names as well. So you can have all three of those different names, however you see fit. There's Keith McAllister. Thank you very much, Keith. £50 super chat. Much appreciated, sir.
Sorry, Angel's supposed to get on her.
Thank you very much.
Blame.
That's very kind of you. So sorry, didn't mean to bring down the tone of the evening. Apologies. Keep up the good work, you both. Hey, you didn't bring down. This is an open forum, pretty much, and you can say whatever you like, whenever you like. It's absolutely fine. And
Mike often does.
I do frequently, and it's one of those things that bereavement and loss is something which we all, at some point in our lives, are going to have to deal with in some way, shape, or form.
Was it gone?
Oh, is this signal gone? Yeah. Why is my camera gone? Ugh. Hang on a mo.
Look, he's there.
I have to unplug his VU, my camera.
How long's it been off for?
I don't know. There we go. I'm back in the room. Hopefully that's working now. Yeah, like I said, this is an open forum pretty much. You can say what you like. You're pretty much amongst friends here. We're really lucky that even though the channel has grown quite significantly, our kind of core viewership, especially in the live streams, has remained very stable, and it's full of some really, really cool people. And all of us really have got very similar kind of views and beliefs. Sometimes not so much in the kind of the global sense of things, but ultimately we're all human beings here. We all understand people's feelings and what have you. And yeah, it's good to talk about these things because you don't want to bottle this stuff up. You need to talk about it. It's good to get it off your chest. And like they say, a problem shared is a problem two people have got. So that's always been one of my mottos. So thank you very much, Keith, for that. That is amazing. Thank you so much. O'Reilly says, access filter on guest account, that should be isolation. Okay. Aletta said, did Mike just call me stable? I said most of us. I didn't say everybody. Let's go back to the stream desktop. So yeah, you got your LAN, you got your guest networks. Again, like O'Reilly said, access filter. You can enable the access filter as well. So that will basically turn on the firewall features for those as well. Okay, do what you like. DHCP server is pretty obvious, so you can set up your address ranges and limits and put your own DNS server information in there if you don't want to use the standard one. Like 1.1.1.2 is really good, blocks most malware. Quite handy to use that one. I need to do a video on that actually. IPv6, obviously, if your internet provider supports IPv6, you can enable that if you want to. You got your IGMP, so basically more kind of security settings. IPTV or VLANs, you got port triggering, port forwarding, static routing, dynamic DNS or DDNS, custom DNS, quality of service. So you can actually add a client. So on here, like obviously this is emulated, but if you're in there, you can add yourself on the QoS list, so you get priority. Well, cancel that. Oh, okay, whatever. So yeah, you can add clients to the quality of services list, which is awesome. DMZ, so demilitarized zone. So if you've got like a server or something which is outward facing, you can put it in its own DMZ.
Wolfman.
I'm not going to do that there because it's going to go for error. Wolfman. Cudy uses OpenWRT as a locked engine, so no customization like most OpenWRT routers. Yeah, that's right. They basically put their own spin on it, but if you want to, you can unblock it and just install OpenWRT on it yourself and configure it yourself. So they've tried to make it the best of both worlds so that it's easy to upgrade it if you want to, but also you've got the kind of safety net of having their own spin on it, so to speak. Where do we get to? So TTL, Wake on LAN. Some people might want Wake on LAN. You've got UPnP. You should always turn UPnP off. Probably won't let me because this is a virtualized thing, but you should always turn it off if you possibly can, because it is a security vulnerability. In security, you've got firewalls, MAC filtering, IP filtering. You can filter by domain. Also, you've got IP and MAC binding, WPS for wireless protected setup. Your Wi-Fi schedule, so you can turn off your Wi-Fi at certain times if you want to prevent people from using it. That's pretty cool also. And also you've got your ALG, so your application layer gateway. So this helps with network address translation for some games and some applications. to be able to route through your router and actually get to the right PC.
Better get to the right camera.
And back to the right camera. Woo! Lights, flashy lights, everybody. Thanks to Hayden H. £20 super chat. Thank you very much. £20 to a fellow Bristolian. Thank you for what you do, Mike. You're very welcome. And Kath. Don't forget Kath. Got to include her. She is the unsung hero of the operation.
I don't do as much now.
She turned lights on and off, even though she's got a bad back. But thank you very much, Hayden. Very generous of you. Thank you.
And they sprawled out in the middle.
Arali says, I prefer UPnP on, but that is because I am in control of the Wi-Fi password and wire connections. Hey, that's the beauty of it. You've got the options. You can do essentially whatever you want to do. The choice is yours. I personally don't like UPnP being on because I have kids and you never know quite what they're accessing or trying to install. And yes, it does concern me that they may install something and it may just install a static route or some kind of port forwarding or some sort of denial of service thing, which worries me. So I try to avoid that. Last of all, you got the system stuff. So you got the time, you got your firmware updates, backup and restore. So you can, if you actually have a, if you actually have a setup that you really like, you can generate a backup of that, and then you can restore it after doing a reset. You got add administration. You can change the passwords, admin accounts, blah blah blah. Actually, administration is, oh yeah. Sorry, this is for actually accessing the interface. So you can have it so that it will only work as HTTPS. Some people might like to do that. Also, you can have remote management enabled or disabled. So if you don't want people to access it remotely, then you can stop that as well. So that's awesome. Languages, obviously, timed reboot. So you can get it to reboot at a time which is convenient for you. So either every day or on a certain day. So like every Sunday morning or Sunday evening, get it to reboot. So it's nice and fresh. You can also do a reboot now, reset, factory reset, LED control. So LEDs either on or off. And then you have got the TR069, which is a really weird thing. So this is basically a kind of like a provisioning tool. So I think with this, you can actually set it up so that it automatically provisions user accounts, but that's more of a business thing or like a workplace thing. Home users would never really use that.
Greg M.
Greg M, is remote management disabled by default? Yes, it is, which I think is actually probably a good idea. So yeah, I think that is a pretty comprehensive setup. Oh, actually, you've got the diagnostic tools as well, which you don't really need to see that. So the diagnostic tools you've got, it'll say if you're connected to the internet, your Wi-Fi is working, remote connections, etc. You can do ping, trace route, NS lookup, and you can access the system log. So that is kind of all in there. But yeah, essentially that is kind of it.
That's Jan.
So I will come out there. That's Jan. What did Dutch Jan say? That's Jan. What a hassle to get the Wi-Fi working properly. It can be, yeah. Hey Gitman, how you doing? Does it have backup internet in case main internet fails that uses your mobile phone as a provider automatically? This particular model that I've got doesn't, but there are models which have 4G and 5G, and there are some which have got USB, and you can actually use the USB tethering with devices. So yeah, the ones I don't have that. Sorry, the ones that I have don't have it, but yes, it is a possibility on other models. So I think that is answered that. Greg M says, I disable UPnP on every router I configure. Things on the LAN can open ports without user knowledge. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it, really. Matthew Day says, UPnP, you need it or you don't. Yes. Ira Wolfman says, VLANs are your best protection, Mike. I'm very, very naive or green when it comes to VLANs. I don't quite understand them. So maybe I need to do some brushing up on my skills there. I think it's because I've not had to use one, or I've not been in an environment where someone is using one, that I don't quite understand them. I think I understand the principles behind them, but I don't understand what it would actually do for me as an end user. So yeah, maybe I'll have to do some investigation on that. I know it's basically virtualizing your network, in theory, I guess, a virtual LAN or a VLAN. But anyway, we will see. Hayden says, would you say this router is better than the TP-Link BE3600? Yes, infinitely. For multiple reasons. The first reason against it is the fact that the TP-Link BE3600s are slightly cheaper. And especially when they're on offer, they are considerably cheaper. But the BE3600 is only dual band rather than triple band. So if you're using it as a mesh, then the backhaul is going to be slower. Also, your devices in general are going to be slower because there are less bands to choose from. And although they are Wi-Fi 7, the dual channel ones, they're not true Wi-Fi 7. It's a weird thing. Wi-Fi 7 is a bit of a mashup. I think Linus did a good video recently about it, saying that like some providers are kind of loosely adhering to the Wi-Fi 7 standards. So yeah. Dutch Jan, question, why not just run cables everywhere? I do. But there are some things where cables aren't always easy. Like obviously things like mobile phones. You can run a USB Type-C Ethernet plug to a phone, but that isn't always practical, is it? Especially on a portable device. Things like a laptop, I guess, yes, you could plug in a cable, but it depends where you are. If you decide that it's a nice day and you're going to go and work in the garden, dragging a cable out into your garden to connect to the internet is a little bit of a pain. Things like security cameras, not always practical depending where they are to run a cable to them. But certainly I do try to run cables to as many items as I possibly can. PCs in the front room cabled up, PCs in here cabled up, that PC's cabled up. The Mac, even though I very rarely use it and it's got good Wi-Fi, is still wired up to the gigabit. Well, actually, yeah, only got a gigabit connection on there, which is weird, but it is connected to the 2.5 gigabit hub. So I do try to wire as much as I can, and I don't rely on Wi-Fi for backhaul between the devices. So the way that meshes work is you've got like 2 or 3 devices. They use part of one of the bands to send traffic to each other, or to kind of like to bunny hop. I find that to be a little bit of a pain in the backside sometimes. So I've got wired connections where each one of my routers goes. So I use the wire for the backhaul. So yeah, I am trying to eliminate wireless where I can, but it isn't always possible. O'Reilly says, Mike, I can educate you on VLAN. For most home users, VLAN is pointless, but you can set up VLAN 0 and VLAN 1 on the same subnet IP network. I may take you up on that.
Mike will be pulling out your non-existent hair.
I will be pulling out hairs from my back. UPnP says, Matthew Day is just make port forwarding stuff work without asking, and it will make it work for anything, good or bad. Yeah, that is my concern. Hayden says, thank you, Mike. I've got a TP-Link 3600 at the moment. So have I. I've got 3 of them, I think. No, technically I've got 2 of them, because the third one is this is the Mercusys BE3600, which is, for all intents and purposes, a TP-Link BE3600 in disguise. Mercusys is actually TP-Link's kind of cheaper brand, even though TP-Link are pretty cheap anyway. But yeah, this is their kind of the budget thing, so that's why this one works with Easy Mesh, or Easy Mesh compatible. That was the problem with this. Because I've got a couple of them, the Easy Mesh only meshes the primary SSD. doesn't do the IoT, doesn't do the guest networks, which for me was one of the things I wanted to actually get done, because I want to get my kind of slower moving traffic and more potentially sensitive data being put on a separate network. I don't want it on my kind of home network with the rest of my stuff, because if one of those Wi-Fi devices gets kind of hacked or there's some vulnerability, potentially they can kind of worm their way into the rest of the network. Now, I know that's all kind of sci-fi TV stuff, but potentially it could happen, and I don't want it to happen. Stephen, how you doing, Stephen? Mike, could you do a dummies guide for using the BE11 as a replacement of Sky, Vodafone, BT router, etc.? I'm always scared to try anything too heavy in case I lose everything. Well, that is the beauty of any of these devices, like the BE1100. You won't actually lose anything, because what you'll do is you won't get rid of your existing BT or Vodafone or Virgin Media modems or the Wi-Fi box like the Super Hub. You don't remove it, you keep it, but you just switch it into modem only mode, which then effectively just turns off its broadcasting abilities, and it is just literally an incoming signal. You then connect your new Wi-Fi devices to your Virgin Media or your Sky Hub or whatever, and it just bypasses it. It just sends a signal to the next thing. But yeah, maybe I could do a video on that. People might well be interested in that. Rasha says, looking at the amount of antennas on that router, I will need to wear my tinfoil hat. Yes. Simram says, need an electrical degree to understand all the options routers have on board. My old Tautronics app mystified me, so just hopes keeps working. Yeah, the Tautronics, I loved the Tautronics system. That was awesome. I really did like that. It's just a shame that they didn't support it for as long as I wanted them to. Stephen says, is there something you've already done or in the Discord? I don't think I have. Don't think I have, no. I may have briefly touched upon it in one of the other router. Actually, yes, look at the... Oh God, what was the name of the mesh?
Those Chinese ones.
Tender. Look up the Tender mesh. There was a Tender mesh video we did, and I showed the entire setup, I think. In the video thumbnail, I think it's me holding one of the units in the garden. And it says like best Wi-Fi mesh. And it was, at the time, it was really good value for money. And actually we kept that for a long time.
They were like our best buy of the year, weren't they?
They were really good.
Best Wi-Fi signal and Tender instant mesh.
Yeah, I think that, is one of them say how to set it up? Or is...
Factory reset, solve your dead spot on.
Kath's going to find it. She'll put it in the chat.
Which one it would be though?
She'll put both in. It's got to be one of them. Keith says, I've been running 3 TP-Link BE9300 Wi-Fi 7. They've been solid as a mesh. The BE90... I wonder if that one does it. The BE9300, I think because you're paying a little bit extra for that one does actually do the multi-channel mesh. Or does it do easy mesh? IoT mesh. Does it do it? Looks like it might do it. But that one is a little bit more pricey, which I think is why... Yeah, because they do a 3-pack of those, don't they? They call it the... Actually, yeah, is that the Deco? Yeah, the Deco models all mesh really easily. But they are a different price premium. So, yeah. Weirdly, the TP-Link Deco units... They support Easy Mesh, but they don't actually use Easy Mesh themselves. So they use a different mesh. I think they use Deco Mesh. I think is their kind of proprietary name for it. So yeah, those will mesh properly across all of the SSID bands, but you are paying a premium because I think those are what, £400-500 for that system. Let's have a look if I can find one. Amazon. Oh, I can't see now. Deco Mesh Wi-Fi 7. So I think, don't mind is, yeah, the TP-Link Deco BE 9300, the 3-pack, 430 quid. So it's a little bit more than I wanted to spend. Now, to be fair, I've spent probably the closest part of about getting on for £300, but hopefully I can save 80 by sending one of those units back that I possibly don't need. In which case then it's like quite a significant saving between the two. And also, I am one of those people that, like I said earlier, because of the fact that TP-Link and Netgear and the others, they get to a point where they just say, right, okay, that's it, we're not going to support the product anymore. In which case, like, what do? Do you just keep on using it and hope and pray that it's all going to be fine? Or do you then start looking for a replacement? In which case, you're going to be selling those on the used market for probably a fraction of what they originally cost you, and you're going to have to buy into whatever the next system is. At least from appearances, with the Cudy or Cudy system, because it is using that customized version of OpenWRT. Now, obviously, like I said earlier, if you want to, you can just install the OpenWRT on the majority of routers if you know what you're doing. It's not always a simple thing to do. You possibly have to use Telnet or SSH or some kind of other means, sometimes even just like connecting to pins on the motherboard inside the unit, which is way beyond the scope of most people's kind of abilities or even like consideration. I personally wouldn't do it either, so I can't imagine many people wanting to do that. So that's why this really appealed to me, because it's simplicity of upgrading. Because upgrading is always the bit which pisses me off, because I just get everything working just how I like it or as good as I can, and then something else comes along and it's like, oh, or it goes out of service, which is a real pain.
What is it, Dave? What's wrong?
Our Portier says it's been above 20 degrees for 3 days with a peak of 26 today. Now thunderstorms and buckets of rain. Yeah, we've had loads of rain. I thought we were going to have thunder earlier because it was getting really kind of close and clammy feeling, but it didn't happen. So, yes, that was pretty good.
I missed that close and clammy bit. When was that?
I think it was when you were let down.
Dave wants to be brushed.
Ira Wolfman says, if you want OpenWRT, buy one with it installed, like the Flint 2 or Flint 4 when it's out. Yeah, I did. The Flint 3 was one that I did have on my radar as well. But that, again, is a little bit more expensive. And some people have said that the Flints don't mesh particularly easily either. But I've not tried one, so I don't know. But yeah, that was another one on my kind of shopping list. But they were either a bit more expensive or it just didn't seem to be quite as appealing. Oh, they didn't have the... I think they only had one 2.5 gig Ethernet port rather than two, or all of them. There was something about it. Don't touch the Flint 3 mic, it's bad. Okay. Semrab says, I think lack of support for the Tautronic app worries me. Much prefer web-based access because of this. Yeah, there's a lot of router systems or mesh systems which don't have web access. I think the Tender ones possibly didn't. The Tautronics didn't. There was another one that didn't have a direct web interface, and I can't think of what it was called. Might have been a... no, I'm trying to think of... I can't think of the brand off the top of my head. It was one that I bought. It was like, it didn't last very long at all. I got it home, set it up, and it's like, right, okay, how do I connect to the web interface? And it wouldn't. It's like, oh, well, I don't want to do that again. Anyway, we're all good. All right, O'Reilly, just reading that. Thank you. Hey KP, how you doing?
Gentle bad boy.
Aeon says, "Can I get pregnant from all this?" Possibly. If you ask nicely.
Gentle man bad boy.
Hello, the gentleman bad boy. How you doing?
Read it.
If you plug in the internet.
Does it?
Oh, does it send full speed out of the other units while connecting over Wi-Fi? Yeah, I kind of touched on this earlier on. Yes and no. It has the potential of being as fast as your incoming broadband connection. I did a speed test with my iPhone, which is using Wi-Fi 7, and I was getting 990 something megabytes per second upload and 110 down, which, no, the other way around. Reverse it, flip it over. I was getting 900 and whatever it was megabits per second download and 100 and something upload, which is basically the full speed of what my Virgin Media router can do. And that was over Wi-Fi 7. That wasn't MLO, that was just Wi-Fi 7. So yes, essentially, depending on your internet connection coming into the house, you may or may not saturate the bandwidth. But realistically, if you're on like a gigabit system or thereabouts, I think you could probably go up to 2 gigabits before it starts to negatively affect Wi-Fi 7, especially in MLO mode. But yeah. iOpen says 50% on Wi-Fi backhaul. Yeah, I've been using, like I said, I use wired backhaul. I think it's a more sensible thing to do if you possibly can, which makes sense. I don't think all of them get a 50% drop. I think they get a 50% drop in the total overall output, but depending on how many users are using it, I don't necessarily think that the dedicated 6 gigahertz backhaul on some devices will reduce its speed by 50%. I could be wrong. Alexa says I have internet but no phone. Hayden says the ISP routers are rubbish, especially if you've got PlusNet. Yeah, I cannot imagine living my life using my Virgin Media Superhub just for my primary internet connection. I would cry because it's pretty awful. KP says, after the stream, when can you post below the video? Does that help the algorithm? Yes, any engagement on the videos, whether it's a live stream or a normal video, any engagement is seen as a positive thing, even if you're leaving negative comments. Although, having said that, YouTube have implemented another AI into the creator's console. So now there's a button you can press, and after you've released a video, you can click on it. It's like a Gemini looking button, and it says, bring me up to date on my latest video. And it'll go through, it'll discuss the high points, the low points, where people lost interest, people's questions, comments, etc. So if you do leave negative comments, YouTube know about it. And your comments do actually affect, potentially, the video's distribution. So if you leave a comment in the comments on a video saying, oh, I love this video, it's really great, it's really helpful, I'm sure other people will find this valuable. If you keep on leaving comments like that, YouTube will go, many people are saying the same thing. We should push this video out to other people. Obviously, depending if the video itself is doing well in general and people are actually watching the video. But yeah, there's many things. Hello, David. Come on. Yes, YouTube is getting smarter. Well, I wanted to say smarter, but YouTube is becoming scarier and scarier as the days pass. But sometimes tools like that are actually quite useful because you can look at a video and see where people dropped off. They do make recommendations, like when I do the introductions, like, hi, this is Mike's Unboxing, Reviews and How To, and on today's video we will be doing. They basically said to me, stop doing that. But that's like your introduction. I think that's part of what you should do. But apparently some people just click off as soon as they hear it because they just want to get straight into the meat of the video. But again, there's a lot of people out there that watch videos which like a little bit of interaction or a little bit of hand holding and don't want to go like, imagine going into a video straight away and then just saying like, right, click on Windows key, type run, type blah blah blah, 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 press enter, that's it, you're done, bye. That's not really a video, is it? There's no real presentation in that. It's just you're producing facts.
They want you all robotic nowadays, don't they?
So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Aeon says, get 180 download and 124 upload. Aero mesh in the US 1 gig speed. Ouch. And that might be down to your the Samsung A14. I think it's Wi-Fi 5, isn't it? Or is it Wi-Fi 5E? I think it's Wi-Fi 6.
That new music wanted me to click it off. Up a bit, it's got the Gentleman Bad Boy.
The Gentleman Bad Boy had a question.
But it's quite long, 9:45.
Matthew Day says the Hub 5 works for me, blasting Wi-Fi all over the house and garden. You are lucky. Mine won't at all. Gentleman Bad Boy, can you plug Black One in as main router and then put one of your other units elsewhere and then come out with an internet port and you get full speed and no wires between router and base unit? Yes, assuming that they are in like a very good overlap, because that's the thing, Wi-Fi mesh works on like almost like a cell bubble, like for your mobile phone. So obviously you've got masts everywhere blasting out your mobile phone signal, and when you're kind of in the ultimate position, you get a really good signal. But when you get towards the outer edges of where the signals overlap, it does get worse. So yes, in theory, you could have your main router, sorry, like this, with your internet signal, that being meshed to another unit, and then use a wired connection from that unit into like a desktop PC. And as long as the radio from here is in good proximity to the radio here, then yeah, in theory you should get really good speeds, or at least the equivalent of like Wi-Fi 7, Wi-Fi 6E speeds. I would have to try it, and again, there will be so many variables about that. It would be hard to say, yes, you'll get the full speed. In theory, yes, you should. But again, it depends on your internet speed. If you have a very, very fast internet, then possibly not, but it should come quite close. ONT box. What's an ONT box? ONT box. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Never heard of that. Yeah. That's the white box, Mike. What? ONT?
Open reach box.
Open reach box. Right, the box that comes with the provider. Okay, yeah, I get you. So yeah, you'd go from your provider's box into like one of these, then have another one of these somewhere else, or similar device, and then a wire from it. So yeah, that becomes, there is a name for that setup in there. I can't think what it's called. It kind of becomes an access point, I think. A wired access point. Aidan says ONT is like a modem which carries fiber to router if you use fiber from BT. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I've not used a BT system in a long time, so I didn't know that. I ONT used one, yeah. Trev Good to say there, Mike and Kath. Hope things are well. Yeah, not too bad, Trev. You keeping out of trouble?
What pops don't you mean?
Okay, right. Do we have any more Wi-Fi related questions? Because if not, we'll take a look at the PC case, which some of you are going to love, some of you are going to absolutely hate. Hopefully it's going to be somewhere in between. Oh. I am actually genuinely excited to get all this set up tomorrow. Well, as long as Kath don't mind. It's her birthday tomorrow.
That wireless stuff.
You don't like it?
No.
No. This is why the box is so big.
That's horrendous as well, doesn't it? Can't we just get rid of our TV? What are we going to do when we get rid of the TV of that ugliness behind it?
I don't know. Got a picture of a cat there or something.
Let's cover it out like a huge phone. 15-inch picture of the cats.
Yeah. It's got to be rotated round. There we go. Good stuff. Look at this. I do unboxing, but I also do reboxing. Mike's reboxing. Oh, feck. I didn't mention, but I should do. I suppose it does come with all the installation guide stuff as well. So it's very simple. And to plug it in, it comes with a wall wart.
Hogwarts.
It comes with a Hogwarts legend. Where does that go in there? Does it go there?
David Thompson said earlier, Jack and Vera are leg ends.
They are leg ends. I think I've gotten the hang of this reboxing, Lark. There is some penetration going on here. It's actually quite easy to put away. It's pleasing, very pleasing. So yeah, my hopes and dreams and ambitions are that I only need 2 units, because at the moment we're using 3 in the house. So it would be nice to have to be able to get rid of one of them. I thought that was going to be the case with the TP links when I first did that. And I did say that that was the goal, to just use 2, which is why I only bought 2 to start with. But as it turned out, yeah, the TP links weren't quite as powerful as I'd hoped them to have been. They were still good, and we're still using them now. Like this whole production in inverted commas, this whole setup is run off those TP links at the moment. And it's done fine. We've been using it for the last, year almost? But I was very lucky, actually. I managed to talk Amazon into taking them back. So even after, I think I literally bought them in June last year. So they're almost like 12 months into their life. And yeah, I spoke to them and said, look, I'm not really keen on this because they've misrepresented the marketing on this about the easy mesh, because it's not easy and it doesn't work with all the bands, and they've never made it very clear. You have to go very, very deep into their technical support, or even contact them directly and say, like, is this definitely a thing? So yeah, find it out, and it's gonna be good. Gentleman Bad Boy says, when are you going to set it all up? I will be doing that tomorrow at some point, probably, or I might leave it till Monday. See what the weather and stuff's like and what else I'm doing. It's Kath's birthday tomorrow, so we'll be spending hours opening all her presents. She's looking at me like... CMCB says 2 times WR 1100s. No, I'm just using one WR11, and at the back of the house will be a M11000, which is the cylindrical one. Wolfman says, Mike, if you have brick walls and no line of sight, 0 to 30 feet, no walls, distance drops between, yeah, it does. That is a trouble here, because it's brick wall and it's like 1930s house, so it's all proper like old school cement, old school bricks,
Floorboards.
Yeah, tongue and groove floorboards, big heavy metal stuff in the walls. It's really hard for the Wi-Fi to kind of penetrate those walls, but surprising.
Nice and strong. which is
Yeah,
which
it's
is
strong,
good until
it's
you wanna
secure.
work on it.
Yeah. Jan says, of course, Amazon does that for you, Mike. You are half of their revenue. I wish.
Half of their returns.
Half of their returns, yeah. Steve Simmons says, happy birthday for tomorrow, Kath. Enjoy your new router. Aww. Buffering.
Thank you.
Buffering.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. Ooh, George is doing some streaming, I think, upstairs as well. That might be it. Right, I'm only going to get a case, and also I'm going to get a beer. Anybody else want a beer? I've got lager, but it's shandy. So, I'm heterosexual.
Who else would take a shandy on a school trip when you were at school?
Did you, when you went to school trips when you were young, did you take shandy with you?
As your loud.
As your canned drink of choice? You were buffering. I did buffer. You're all buffering. Yay. Cider better. I don't like cider. I've never been a... Well, I liked cider for about 2 or 3 years when I was young, but I soon liked larger. Hello, Candy. Oh, what's in there? Do you want to have a lie down?
No.
Poor calf's in pain. If I get these, do you want some?
On my back.
Yeah. Do you want some?
Roll the can on my back.
Shall I get the glass? We'll have a communal glass. Kath's having a bit of a rest a minute because she got a bad back.
I'll just put this can of lager on it.
So she's putting a can of... this is awesome. I love this stuff. This is great for the summer because you can actually drink it and not be like pissed up, but just got a little bit of a nice... Takes the edge off. So this is Foster's Proper Shandy. So it's only 3%, but I quite like it. I do like the lemony taste. Lager and lime I quite like, or lager with lemon is awesome. So cheers, everybody. This has such a ridiculous head on it when you pour it. It's insane. So you've got to do it really, really slow.
And then Mike offers me the head, so to speak.
Gentleman Bad Boys, just totally agree for the summer, Mike. Yeah, it's been... when we had a couple of nice days out there, I saw these down the shop and I thought, oh, I haven't had those in ages. I think it was this time last year I bought some. Look at that. That's a pretty good pour. Whoa. Look, I did a thing. Empty.
And then you go, do you want some for Timmery to get
There.
rid of the head?
Would you like to go first?
I'll go after.
Okay.
Oh, so relieving.
Cheers, everybody.
Right again, with that camera.
The lemon in that just really cuts through. It's very nice. Okie dokie. Graphics CHR. Morning, Mike and Kath. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Don't party too hard. We won't. Mike must have had a job behind a bar. No. We were going to buy a pub, weren't we? We were looking at pubs years and years ago. I kind of did. Kath didn't want to.
The nearest we had to a pub was at Casualty.
Yeah.
I had my pub there.
Kath had her own pub at Casualty. We were the set decorators beyond extraordinary things. Ugh. Right. I've got a case and it's as big as my head. It's not actually. Right, next we're going to take a look at this case. So some of you have probably already seen the video for this week. So if you have, I do apologise, but whatever. And, oh, there's a super chat. Bloody hell. Rasher, bless your heart. Oh, I can't click on that. I can't find my mouse. Let's move that out of the way. Notice, improvement, shoulder not hurting too much.
Resolved conflict.
Yeah. And wrist is better as well. Still a little swollen, but much better. Happy soon-to-be birthday, Mike and Kath. You're not old, you're just at that stage where you have to stretch before Rumpy Pumpy and sometimes decide if it's worth the, not worth the risk.
It's always worth it.
Did you hear that? She said it's always worth it. Bless her. She's very understanding. Thank you, Rasher. That is very, very kind of you for your €50. Muchas gracias, por favor.
Thank you.
Ira Wolfman says, I thought this looked good, but it's too small for me. That's what Kath said. Letter says, compared to a lot of us, Kath and Mike are still kids. I like that. Thank you. I am feeling like since probably around November last year, since then, like, I had a few health issues and woes, and I think the last day or two have been the first, probably today actually more so, it's been the first time in a long, long time that I've actually felt like pretty good. It's weird. It's very weird. I can't quite get my head around it.
Can you say hi to Theo?
Hey, Theo.
Poppy.
Theo say, can I say hi to him? Cool. Hello. Right, let's have a look at this case, shall we? Before my my good health runs out. That's a pragmatic way of looking at it. So this is the Lian Li Vector V150 INF, or INF, which I was sent this about, well, best part of a month ago to review, covered in dust. And at the time when I did the review, they were still undecided on how much the final price was going to be. So it was actually really difficult for me to give it a proper kind of examination for the review purpose. But it actually, I said in the review, if this came out at about £80, then they'd have a proper winner on their hands. And from what I can tell at the moment, the initial price here in the UK has been about 70. So actually, for something like this to come out cheaper than I anticipated, is pretty cool. And I just realised I left the motherboard backplate in there. Remember that when we used to leave motherboard backplates in computers? Not really something you have to worry about too much these days, but I managed to do it nonetheless. A letter says, anything on this side of the dirt feels good to me. Dutch Jan says, my brain thinks I'm 20, my body doesn't. Oh. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is the Lian Li Vector. What's my Victor Vector? No, the other way around. What's my Vector Victor? As you can see, it has a infinity style front panel, which I gotta be honest with you, when I first saw this case online and in the documentation, I thought, who the hell's going to buy that? It looks bloody awful. But actually, the more I get to use it and the more I see it, I think it actually does look pretty cool. It's different and it's unusual. And I kind of do like that as well, because it's not the same as like every other case where it's either a airflow front or a fish tank wraparound, whatever. They're just doing something a little bit different, and I do appreciate that. You got the grills on the front for the speakers. They're not speakers. Just twist them to the left a little bit, and then you can remove those. So if you prefer a more open look, you can remove those. Or if you want to do any DIY maintenance, cleaning, etc., then you can do that.
Am I in it?
Is Kath in it?
Ah,
You picking your nose?
no, I'm playing on my phone.
That is the downside of the reflective nature of this case. I will spin that around more so. I can see Kath now. Hello. So that is the front panel. So the fans in the front are very powerful.
Does it have room for 3.5-inch drives?
Yes, it does have room for 3.5-inch drives. And that is actually something which we do need to discuss, because I'm not entirely 100% sure what I'm going to put in this. Now, way back when, Andy Archer was extremely kind, and I'm not sure if that was something to do with Matthew Day as well. I think it might have been. Can't remember. But Andy Archer sent me a mini ITX motherboard, an ASRock B620E. I have to remember now. I don't know. A620AM. So a somewhat budget-minded motherboard, but micro ATX nonetheless. And I actually put this in here for the kind of demonstration purposes, and it works out really well. So I am actually thinking of doing a build based around this, because like overclocking and having the world's biggest VRMs, is that a thing anymore? Like most processors will be absolutely fine just running at their stock speeds pretty much. And this can do some tweaking. You alright, or is it just your hand?
No, I've got a question.
Alright, go on.
Can you mount any fans in the front, or are they specific?
You can mount any fans in the front, yes. These are 140mm fans. The ones that are actually included are 30mm thick, I believe, or 28mm thick. But it does come with smaller screws. So if you do want to remove the fans, you can replace them with something else. So maybe you want to put some Arctic P14s in there, you can do. If you wanted to put some Be Quiet fans in, whatever, you can do. Realistically, I don't think you're going to want to, because these fans, even though they are kind of stock case fans, they're not stock case fans. These are really good, very powerful, just awesome fans. And there's no real reason why you want to change them, which is why this case costs a little bit more than your traditional micro ATX case, but the fans make up for that, I personally think anyway. Let's move it around. So we'll look on the side. So this is very much reminiscent, it's kind of like a mashup. So you had the Vector V100, which I reviewed a while back, which had this same sort of line, but that was a full ATX size case. Sorry, am I getting you again? I'll take the glass off to get out of the way. So this has got that kind of angled section, which I kind of like. But there's also a Lian Li Vector 217 INF, which is kind of where the front panel comes from. So it's a mashup between the 217 and the V100.
Do you reckon they have that case in the Langley arms?
The Langley arms, yeah, this is where it comes from. So it's got the best of both worlds. So you've got the scoop at the front, so it blows the air kind of in towards the path of your graphics card, which is going to be awesome for cooling, obviously. This one here is directly pushing towards your CPU and potentially air coolers, or even your VRMs, etc. And the rear one is just doing its exhaust thing. So straight out of the box, you don't really need to add any more fans. It can work very, very well in this configuration straight out of the gate. And also it's got some really nice little ease of use features, and also things which bugged me with micro ATX. Like, I hate micro ATX as a form factor. I detest it. Always have done. But with this, it's starting to kind of make a change for the right way of doing things. Because the thing which always pissed me off with micro ATX is the fact that almost whatever you did, like, there'll be loads of room at the top and there'll be plenty of room over here, but the graphics card would always be struggling to get air, because it's obviously going to be quite close proximity. ATX, you've got more PCI Express blanking plates, so it obviously sits higher, so there's more room, so more airflow around your graphics card. So what they've done with this, rather than sticking with the usual 3 or 4 PCI Express blanking slot spaces, they've actually just added another one underneath. So it gives you another inch or so. And also to the fact that you've got this kind of scoop section blowing air up towards the graphics card. It just makes it so your graphics card doesn't have to struggle for air, even if it is like a 3-slot card. 2-slot cards, 2.5 slot cards are going to be absolutely fine. 3-slot cards, it still is going to be relatively low, but this bottom bit is also ventilated. So you can have air coming up through there or being pulled up through there. And also you can, if you want to, mount fans on the top. Now you probably don't want to on this side because it's going to be over your power supply, but if you wanted to, you could do there. I don't really see the need to do it, but some people do. Also, you've got a big pass through there. So for longer graphics cards, passing your EPS or your 12 volt 6x2s up through there into your graphics card, nice clean layout. I do like that. Otherwise, internally, it's basically an ATX case, but in micro ATX kind of sizing. Graphics card mounts on the bottom and also the top to keep your graphics card in place. And you've got 2 sections here, so you can put 2.5-inch drives. I'll give you an example of that because I have 2 drives here. So you can kind of have one here and one there if you wanted to, or you can put them on the other side. So if you don't want them to be visible, you can mount them either way. So that's pretty cool. Also for the top, you've got loads and loads of room between the top of the motherboard and the top here. So for 360mm rads, 280mm rads as well, loads and loads of clearance, not going to be an issue at all. So I think realistically, for me, if I was doing a build in this, a 360mm rad on the top would just like top it off perfectly because it will fill that gap at the top. Also, you've got all this incoming air here, having a little bit of exhaust at the top as well as the back is going to help to dissipate some of that heat a little bit nicer. So yeah, I think it's a very, very nice design. It's all been done very well. The fans, if you wanted to take them out, again, you can do. The front panel, I haven't actually taken the front panel off yet because I don't know if it does come off. I'm guessing it will do, but I don't know how. So let's break it. Oh. Right, so it is connected on the other side. Let me try and spin that round in a way that isn't going to wreck the cable. So the front panel is essentially held on with one cable there. So that is the mesh section. You've got the fans there. You can just unscrew those. Just put in a normal set of 140s and yeah, you're absolutely fine. But again, I don't know why you'd want to. These are really good fans. I don't see why you'd want to change them out realistically. But the option is there if you want to. It just snaps back into place, all very lovely. Inside, actually, let's do the overhead. Hopefully you can see some of what is going on in here. Bit of a bit dark actually, isn't it? I need some more light. Set the top off.
Get it off.
Get it off. Not my top. Pervert. Let's have a look, see what it says. Not 200mm fans? No. Hi, Cafe Mike. Sorry, missed so many lives. Nice to be back. Hey, Brigman, how you doing?
There was a bit of a question above, I think.
Oh, there was a question. I can't... Where's my mouse there?
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was good for people to do their makeup and hair in the mirror finish, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I don't do my hair much these days.
What did you have in your hand before bed the other night? A brush.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dave likes to be brushed before he goes to bed.
Yeah. Dutch Jan says dimensions are 470 by 2 whatever it is there. Hardly as big as an ATX. So what is the point? Yeah. I do understand that. It's a very strange kind of design and compromise, but it isn't a compromise. They've wanted to give you a case which will do micro ATX without the compromises that are normally associated with it, but without it being extremely larger. If that makes any sense at all. I don't know if it does actually.
You're speaking larger.
I'm just talking larger. David Undo says, I love the 170mm fans in the Lian Li 217, really non-standard. They are really good fans. They do move a lot of air as well. And that is the thing, these fans are like really good. I don't know, yeah, it is an unusual design. If you look at the dimensions of the 217, which is effectively kind of like the ATX version of this, it is quite a bit bigger. So it's just about people who want to save a little bit of space, but don't want to have a compact chassis, which I totally understand. It is a little bit niche, but then Micro ATX always has been. Looking at the top there, hopefully you can sort of see what is going on there. You can't really, can you? There's awful lighting tonight. Do apologise. But anyway, loads of room for the radiators, etc. in there. Or you can use it for holding a drink. That is entirely possible also. Speaking of which. So yeah, PSU basement. Oh, excuse me. Woo! So the basement section, as you see, is relatively see-through there. The one thing which kind of does bother me with Lian Li and the way they're doing their designs recently, if I go back to the main camera, we'll see it a little bit better, and that is how small the feet are. So they've deliberately made the feet as small as possible to try and reduce the overall size of the case, which seems a little bit pointless. But if you do put a power supply in, like this way down, with a fan at the bottom, there isn't a lot of room for it to breathe. Now obviously they've done testing and they haven't found any issues. And funny enough, my 217 up there, which is, I think it's got the same 207 digital, sorry, has effectively the same feet. And I've not noticed any issues with my power supply, but it still does make me wonder that just adding on like 5mm on the bottom might have made a nice improvement to the airflow on the bottom of the PSU. That's just my opinion. It's probably wrong, but that is my opinion. Hello. Hello Thanos, and why to build a Micro ATX, not ATX? Yeah, that is the thing. Like, I've always said, I don't really get Micro ATX. Like, ITX I understand because it's a big enough step away from the big motherboards that you can make like a proper tiny PC. Whereas Micro ATX really doesn't really achieve much more than ATX. Yes, you lose maybe an inch or so in height. Doesn't really change much for the width. They tend to be the same sort of width anyway. You lose a couple of PCI Express slots, potentially. So yeah, Micro ATX has always been one of those things that, for me, I've always seen Micro ATX as being like for cheap PCs. And it used to be the case that if you bought like a cheap tiny computer, or not so much a Dell, but like Gateway 2000, various other brands like that, LNX, etc. If you bought one of their kind of more business orientated machines, you would generally get it in a smaller case and it would have a Micro ATX board, because those were just cheaper to build, because there's obviously less components on there. But nowadays, Micro ATX really isn't that much cheaper in terms of the actual boards over their main ATX equivalents. So again, I just don't really get Micro ATX. We should just have ATX and ITX and be done with it. But Micro ATX has been around for a long time and it just seems to just hang on. A lot of companies still do make Micro ATX boards, and almost within reason, almost every single motherboard on the market has a Micro ATX version of itself. There are one or two notable exceptions where they call them something slightly different. So like MSI with the Tomahawk range, they don't have a Tomahawk Micro ATX. That is called the Mortar. The Mortar and Tomahawk are essentially the same thing. But otherwise, most other boards like Gigabyte B650 Aorus. There's an Aorus and a B650M Aorus, which is just the micro ATX version of it. So pretty much most boards have a micro ATX version of it, rightly or wrongly. Again, I don't really get it. It's not until you really build a system and then put it next to an ATX one. Like, that is probably a big ATX case anyway. But if you put it next to it, like, it's a good, what, 2.5, 3 inches smaller in height. So there are going to be some use case scenarios where people have got a certain desk or a certain area that they want the PC to fit in, and they just want it to be a little bit smaller. And I guess that is what the whole PC market is about, isn't it, really? The personal computer is building a computer which is what you want it to be, rather than having to settle for something which might be large or just unsuitable for where you want it to go. I need to move this fan on the back. It's been annoying me for ages. I thought I'd actually move the position of it. I don't like them when they're right at the bottom. I like them to be closer to the top because heat rises. So stupid, isn't it? But it makes sense to me in here. That's what's important. Back plate I left in there from earlier on. So on the back, yeah, motherboard, power supply basement, removable tray. Whether that is even useful, I don't know. I suppose it's quite good that it's quite small. So if it is up near a wall, you're probably going to have a good, I don't know, 3-4 inches. And the thing is about that. So yeah, you don't have to pull out a few inches to remove that. So it's not as if this is going to be slammed up against the wall anyway, because you'd kill the airflow, and also you'd bend your cables, etc. And your like display ports are going to stick out a fair chunk. So yeah, it's fine. This is the important bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PCI Express blanking plates. That means you can put bigger graphics cards in without having to worry about airflow underneath it, which is one of those choke points. So in terms of micro ATX cases and what micro ATX cases are doing, yes, I think this is certainly a step in the right direction. I don't know why other brands don't do it. Just adding that extra 1 or 2 slots makes so much difference when it comes to putting a graphics card in. Like, what did I have before? There was a Thermaltake S100. I think it was S100 or S200. That was my micro ATX case of choice a while back, because it was just cheap and cheerful and had a decent amount of room. But again, it struggled with that graphics card, and it all just looked like really cramped at the bottom, then loads of room at the top, which just seemed a bit bananas. Oh, I haven't mentioned actually, have I, the I/O. USB 3, 5 gigabit per second, another 5 gigabit per second. Then, slightly unusually, you've got a 20 gigabits per second, so that's USB 3.2 by 2, so 20 gigabit per second. Those generally tend to be 10 gigabit per second, or sometimes 5 on shit cases, but nice to see a 20 gigabit per second port on there. Really handy if you've got like a phone you're transferring loads of pictures, video, for card readers. Excellent for that. Then you've got your combo headset mic jack. Not really a fan of those, but it is what it is. And you've got your reset and your power button. So yeah, that's pretty much what you would expect. Eon says, where do I put the AOL CD? Yeah. You might struggle with that. AOL CDs, wow. Those were the days, weren't they? Weren't things so much simpler back then? Like, you had your AOL CD to get online, or you had your FreeServe discs here in the UK. Who can remember FreeServe discs? FreeServe was an internet provider which I think originally started out that it was like 1p a minute access time. And you could pick up their CDs in a lot of places, but eventually I think PC World or the Courage Group bought FreeServe, and then they actually distributed those discs in PC World and also on the front of PC magazines.
And weren't they the ones you were meant to make mobiles and stuff in your garden with, and make yourself coasters with.
Yeah, that's the ones. So those were somewhat useless after a while, but yeah, FreeServe, I remember FreeServe, F and S in their logo, and their dial-up service, those were the days. So much simpler. Good times. When we had our Kodak DC 200 or 210, megapixel digital camera. It took megapixel images. Yes, megapixel images. One whole megapixel. Which, if you think back now, like some of those pictures we took with that camera were actually alright, and we printed them out like on A4 paper, and they still looked like reasonable, decent even. Megabit, 1 megabit. Jesus. Anyway, L-shaped ventilation. So for the PSU basement, and also if you want to, you can actually remove the side section for the hard disk drives and put in fans if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd really want to do that. Maybe a bit of extra airflow, but you'd probably find, because then you've got, like we've got here, you've got fans going in that way, you've got fans going in that way, but I haven't on there because they're going the other way. But you get some sort of weird turbulence. So yeah, for me, that is more hassle than I think it's worth, personally. But hey, it's your PC, your case, you do what the hell you bloody like. So yeah, you've got your mounting points there. So if you undo those 2 screws there and undo those 2 screws there, that drive cage comes out in its entirety. And then if you want to, you can put in 120mm fans, so one there, one there. Again, I don't know why you'd want to. I think it would also look weird, because if you look at the fans in the front, you've got those 2 140s, which go right to the bottom, whereas the 120s would end kind of here. So it'd be like a weird sort of symmetry. Yeah, that is definitely not for me. Demon Internet, yes, I remember that. Eon says, I can hear it now, dial up. I need to do that. I need to find a way that I can code something that every time I click on the internet icon, it does the dial up noise just briefly and pauses the time it takes for the Google screen to come up. Absolutely pointless, but nostalgia is definitely a thing. Also, you've got mounting option here for 2.5-inch drive if you want to put one in. There's Velcro straps for cable management. You've got the fan hub. Now the fan hub is a weird one, but it's also very cool, but it's also very weird. I'm not too sure how I feel about it, but it does make sense in the context of the case. So all 3 fans, the 2 in the front and the 1 in the back, are all plumbed into here. This then has the option to be powered via a SATA cable. That was for Adamant IT. And also a 3-pin 5-volt adjustable ARGB and a PWM. So that's fine. You can run that through your motherboard, blah, 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 self-powered, lovely jubbly. But if you are a Lian Li fanboy and you're running L-Connect 3 software, you can change this mode here into wireless mode. So there is actually a very small wireless antenna in here. And if you purchase the separate L-Connect 3 wireless dongle, you can then, by the magic of Wi-Fi, connect to your 3 fans via the L-Connect 3 application. So you can synchronize your lighting in that proper Lian Li style, along with things like your streamers and other Lian Li connected devices. So you can run it all through there if you want to. It is an extra expense. Personally, I probably wouldn't, but at least it's an option. And it's in the hub anyway. But you can still just use it connected to your motherboard as traditionally you would do. You've got all your normal connections on here. So you've got your HD audio, USB Type-C, you've got your USB 3.0. You've also got a front panel header connector. Just plug that straight in the bad boy. And yeah, it's all good. Getting to the hard drives on the bottom is a little bit of a peculiar one, because there's room in the bottom for 2 hard drives. So one there and one there. So 2 3.5-inch drives. Getting to that one there is somewhat on the tricky side because there's all bits of metal and all sorts in the way. So that one probably isn't as easy to do, but that one there is a lot easier. And you get all the grommets and that included in the Lian Li box with all the bits and pieces. So that is very possible if you want to do that. And I'm just undoing that. There is a GPU bracket which is currently getting in the way of the cables. So I'm trying to see if I can get a way of getting a camera in there. I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to see down inside there. No, you don't. I don't think you will be. But yeah, basically there's a basement section. It's pretty empty in there. So if you want to put a drive in there, you can do. There are rubber grommets included to remove some of that noise vibration, which unfortunately is a side effect of those types of things. And how does that go in there? There's all sorts of bits of metal and stuff in here. Where's the screw hole? There. So yeah, getting to the GPU bracket is a little bit of a faff. Oh, for flipping hell's sake. Ah! Blasty Blosty, 4.99 super chat, thank you very much. Says, massive thanks for your recent video on speeding up app launches on boot. It's always annoyed me and I don't know there was a fix. No worries. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Yeah, that was an awesome video. For me, it was one of those things, like, I hate it, and I understand it, but I hate it as well. I hate it when people just make videos because it's just a video to make. I like to make a video where it actually fixes a problem that I'm actually experiencing or have experienced, because then not only do I know A, the fix works, but B, it's useful to other people, because if it saved me hassle, and I gotta say, that speeding up the what was it, the task, no, wait for idle state, wasn't it? I was really struggling with that. I was getting to the point where I was starting up my PC, and I've got the OBSBot camera app, and I've got the, what else was it? The Stream Deck, and there was something else as well. I can't think what it was. There was a couple of things, and I would just sit there. I'd load up the PC, and the PC would be up and loaded, and it'd be running, and like I could get the time to log in, click on a browser, open up a window, start going into YouTube comments or whatever, and then a couple of minutes later, all of a sudden my OBSBot would fire up. It's like, well, what the hell are you doing? And then like the other app would open. I was like, oh Jesus! Talk about a delayed start. And yeah, it absolutely annoyed me to the point of, like, I didn't want to do a full reinstall because I didn't think it needed it. Like, it probably does because I've been doing so much crap on that PC. But yeah, it just really annoyed me that it was taking so long to start up. And it's like, it's not a slow PC. It's a, well, someone's going to say it, but it's an Intel 265K with 32 gigs of RAM. And it's all M.2 NVMe drives in there, with a 9070 XT. So it's not a slouch. It should be running faster, but for some reason, something had happened somewhere along the lines. It just prevented the PC from booting as quick as I think it should have done. So yeah, now after kind of trying to find the fixes and finding the fix and applying the fix myself to my own PC, I was then happy in the knowledge that it would work for other people as well. And it appears it has done, so I'm very glad. I was wondering why that wasn't sticking in place. Ian says, every time I connect to the internet, Wi-Fi at home, the oven turns on, the refrigerator turns off, front porch light strobes red and blue, and the toilet flushes. Blasty Blows, Discord was taking literally minutes to launch. That was it. Discord, I think, was the other one that was causing me frustration. Yeah, good times. Right, do you want to see the illumination on this case? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Honestly, I won't be offended either way, but I figured I'd ask you all to see what your opinions are. And whilst I will What's the fix, Mike? Arnold, if you go to this week's videos and look up for the startup fix video, it's all in there. It's a couple of registry entries. It's pretty straightforward and simple to do. Just follow along. Go by the video description instructions. Kath, I think, is finding it for you now. And she'll put it in the comments section. PC startup. It's the one with like about 12,000 views, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Yes, fix slow startup. That's the one. Semrab says, most defo, please. Right, okay. Now, I'm going to have to go and visit the little boys' room. Actually, before we go, let's have a slurp.
Misgendered that room.
I've misgendered a room?
Yeah, little girls use it too.
Says most defo, please. Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
Turn your mic off.
I took it off. Are you listening to see if you could hear yourself?
Oh yeah, it's in there, isn't it? I was making sure you're taking it off, turned it off.
Alright, thank you. There we go. Hey, where's my drink gone? Right, give me the other can.
Oh, it's cooling my back.
I'll have to get a warm one then. Thank you.
I might cool my back.
Ah! I wasn't sure if I was supposed to inhale it or drink it. I did both partially.
No, we haven't, Rasher.
What's that?
Got a downstairs loo.
No.
I wanted one.
Well, technically I have. DNI's water. Just keep it handy just in case I need to piss. Oh, don't super chat while I'm pouring the drinks.
After he's had a drink.
Look at that. Done a proper job with that one again. Why didn't they go like that in the thing?
We had half a glass of...
Who's that? Mark Gaines, £20. Thank you, Mark. Once again. Get Kath something nice for her birthday. Happy birthday, Kath.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. You're too kind. Yeah, he says, I was just having a drink then, thanks. Kath definitely shook it up. Remember, kids, you don't actually buy beer, you just rent it. That is true. Foster's is piss. Yes? It is. But I don't mind it. The thing is, I don't drink very often at all, so it's nice to... oh, cheers everybody. That is a proper decent drink. I love it. It's got a really nice taste to it. Apart from the Foster's, but the lemonade part of it, the shandy, is excellent. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Arnold says, happy birthday in advance, Kath. Our Portier says, what you're drinking now is beer with 7-Up. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I think I actually prefer Foster's as a shandy than I do as a beer or a lager. Foster's tastes really weird and it's got a very synthetic taste. But this, bizarrely, because of the amount of sugar in the lemonade, it actually just kills it off. So look for the ingredients. Yeah, main ingredient basically is water, malted barley, sugar, glucose syrup, barley, acid, citric acid, flavouring, hops, hop extract. It's got plenty of sugar. Oh, it's got 0.02 grams of salt.
Hey, David.
Nice. Right. Let's get ready to rumble.
Dave there, mind.
Sorry, Dave. I can never remember which power supply is the right one. That's not the right one. It was a 50-50 and I blew it. Dave. Right, let's fire up the lights on this sucker. Because to be fair, it does look actually quite nice when it's illuminated.
Go and inspect it, Dave. That was Inspector Gadget. Don't bite the cables, Dave. Dave's biting the camera cables. He's trying to brush himself. It's brush time now, isn't it, Dave? Time to be brushed.
Now, where did I put my magical turny-offy switch thing? Oh, I keep on putting this somewhere. The bloody lovely Andy Archer sent us it over, and since then I've been in this drawer, haven't I? Ah, there it is. Why am I doing the Inspector Gadget noises? There is something actually wrong with me. Poppy! Knock it off. You crazy bastard.
Ignore him, Dave. Grant's been drinking. He's pissed up with his shandy.
Pissed up on shandy.
Like, you know, his school trips.
I think it's more the sugar. The sugar content in this thing's like off the chart. It's like drinking like 5 cans of Coke. Literally off my tits. Right, I need a power cable for this now. Oh, for fuck's sake. I bet I ain't got one of those either. If anybody's got any kettle leads that they don't want or don't use, and you want to send them to me, send them to Mike's Unboxing, PO Box 200, Bristol, BS1 5LQ. And that will arrive somewhere else. Send it to Motor Parts Downend, care of Miguel Unboxing.
Lucasade is vile.
Lucasade is like the...
My nan used to buy it when I was ill for me, and it used to really work. I was so sick after that.
Yeah. You can tell if you're well, because if you can drink Lucasade without dying, then you're pretty healthy. Lucasade is...
It's like tomato soup. If I eat it when I'm well, I feel ill because it's sort of when you eat when you're ill.
Oh, I need a fan controller, don't I? God damn it.
Be a fan controller, Dave.
I don't think anyone actually said that they want to see this running, do they?
Yeah, I think Senrab did the red eye.
Oh, it's just Senrab.
I don't know about anyone else.
Thanks, Nick. Bless your heart. I knew you'd have my back. Dutch Jan's got what?
Wrong plugs.
Yeah, got the the euros on them. Do I need an RGB controller for this? I have to wonder. Not sure. I have no idea what I'm doing really. Let's see if this works. We'll give it some juice.
Bang!
Oh, fuck's sake.
I hurt my own back doing that. Instant karma.
The power button was on. Yeah. So, RGB wise, we are in the off position. Is that... No, I'm not going to have any RGB control, am I? Because I don't have anything to control it with. Anyway. You can see what the fans are like. So that is in full blast. They do get a bit noisy when they're full blast. But it is moving like ridiculous amounts of air.
Birthday banging.
Birthday bang.
I'm getting a bit of a taste for that.
But that is on full blast. And I'll put it down to the lowest speed. And have they stopped? No. They are absolutely silent.
Sorry, I can't hear you over those fans.
I said they're absolutely... What are you looking at, Dave? Okay, he went...
Oh, Grumpy's scaring you. Don't play with the wires.
So yeah. They are very, 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 very quiet. And still moving a reasonable amount of air. Turn them up to about quarter. And still basically undetectable in terms of noise levels. Very, 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 very slight noise.
We're nearly dry now, Dave.
That is now on 50%.
Ooh.
You can just about hear them kicking in now. But yeah, it's awesome. They are ARGB. I would say that case is for a kid. Thanks, Viali. Well, we're all kids at heart, aren't we? Cheers, everybody. Happy birthday to me.
What day is it on? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday's child is
Wednesday's child is full of gas. I wonder if this actually works. Oh, yeah. Oh, Grace, gas is all the same thing, isn't it? Street. This RGB bejesus is a thing. There we go. We've got some RGB effects going on.
Is that opaque or see-through, that front panel?
It is neither. It is infinity mirror.
Mirror.
It's a mirror, as they say in Ireland. I made Rasher feel at home then.
Look at the infinity mirror.
Have a look at the infinity mirror. That's Scottish, I think, wasn't it?
You've added the R from Scotland.
Yeah, Scottish has the Oh, it's been a long day.
Oh, I'm Irish.
Well, Ireland's well known for them.
Accent.
Is that opaque or see-through?
Next video, how to build a PC when you're drunk. We've done those.
Yeah, we've done those.
First.
Put your mic next to them, Mike.
Mike on the mic.
And that is currently on about 50%. I'll put them down to 0. And they actually stop. Put them on full blast. And it's going to sound like a hurricane. Hurricane! What? Silence. Silence with a capital S. So, there you go. You've seen it lit up. Happy days. That infinity mirror looks like a bit of a failure from this angle. That is the thing with the infinity mirrors. It does depend on the angle entirely.
We're all good, thanks, James.
It's all right. Who's that?
James.
Hey, James. Like most cases, the RGB is more effective in lower light conditions. Yeah, to be fair, like I've got 2 studio lights on here, so there you go. You can probably see the RGB slightly more now. The infinity effect is reduced to about 4 bars. Let's see if I can change that with the camera. Hey, James. Long time no speak. So changing the f-stop on the camera, I don't think that's going to help matters. No. Anyway, you get the general idea. That's what it looks like. I like it. I think it's pretty damn bloody cool. But it doesn't really show the infinity effect that I'm seeing. Trying to see how I can improve the look. Yeah, if you look on that angle, the sort of the depth, you can see the depth at the bottom, definitely. But it is more, yeah, you can actually see that properly now, can't you? The bottom bit looks awesome. It looks awesome. Anyway, if you don't like it, whatever. It's fine. I know these things aren't to everybody's taste. I get that. And you can do, obviously, colours.
You've drunk it all.
Yeah. Go grab another. You got the pink. That's not really pink, is it? Would you say that's pink? That button?
Button is, but the lights are purpley, aren't they?
It's more of a purpley pink, isn't it? Although technically, like, that's supposed to be purple, but that's blue, isn't it? That's supposed to be purple, but that's definitely blue.
But the sun is
Green's red.
The sun is white now compared to what it used to be yellow, didn't it, when you were a kid?
Yeah, like that's supposed to be yellow, but that's more like a puke green. That's an amber yellow. That is orange. Pale blue. Blue. Anyway, you get a general idea. Magental. Our poor G says, I think it's beautiful too, just takes some getting used to. Yeah. Irewolf says, can't you remove the mirror or is it part of the glass? Yeah, the mirror effect is kind of baked into the front panel. I suppose what you could do if you really didn't like it, you could put some sort of Fablon or sticky back plastic over it to kind of just cover it up, I guess. But then really, if you're doing that, you might as well just buy like the 217 or 207 or one of the other models. Because really, you're not going to be benefiting a great deal of buying this over another model. If you don't like the look of the fans on Infinity Mirror, then really you probably should look elsewhere. Look for another case. Because that is what this is really all about. Bottom striping looks a really good effect. Yeah, it's it's one of those things. I like the mirror effect, and again, it's gonna depend on where it is, where you got it set up, the angle that you can see it on. It's like everything computer-wise. There's going to be very much that element of people's own perception of what they like. Like I see some PCs that people have built, and like you just say, yeah, that looks fine, because you don't want to be unkind. but often there are some that just look bloody awful. And you think, well, fair play for having a go, but it's not great. But rarely that happens, to be honest with you. There's very few PCs, and sometimes I think people do post pictures on the Discord of their PCs or a PC build, and they're just trolling a little bit because they're like, oh, I just put this together, and you look at it and you think, wow, like, it literally looks like you've just thrown all the pieces into the computer and hoped they would land in approximately the right places. But yeah, you never know. KP says, my YouTube channel is only crazy motherboard connectors and desk videos. Cool. Kinda cool, says Papa Mav. Thank you. That's it. I quite like it. I think it's a little bit different. I did like the 217 Infinity. When I first saw it, I was a little bit unsure. And things like the 170mm fans, for me, I can kind of understand it because they install it with what they want you to use. But I can see for some kind of more enthusiast people who like to be able to change every single aspect of their computer, I can understand why they probably wouldn't like it as much, because you are kind of going into that ecosystem of having to use specific parts, which again not everybody likes to do.
I'm a bit like Bob, really.
You're a bit like Bob.
Bob from Wick.
Hey, Bob from Wick. Why?
Read it.
Bob from Wick. Bob from Wick. I'm a heretic. Heretic? I don't care what my PC looks like, it's what is inside. No, that's fine. CAF's exactly the same. And to be honest with you, like most of the time, my PC is either at head height or down in a cubbyhole, which I can't see half of it anyway, so I understand where you're coming from. And my other PC in the other room is behind the TV, so I can't even see the damn thing. But I get it. David Underhill.
It hasn't got anything nice in it either.
Yeah.
Well, it has, but
Excuse me.
purpose.
David Underhill, thank you so much for your 20 Aussie dollars. Much appreciated, sir. Your affiliate link for the Lian Li 217 doesn't work here in Australia, so I couldn't use it. Calf, you're fired.
No, we can't find it anywhere, can we? This one.
No, the 217. Actually, I don't think we've done the 217 before. So I don't think we have an affiliate link for it. For the 217. But thank you for trying to use the affiliate links anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
It is appreciated. God bless you.
I expect Mike fiddled with them if they don't work.
Aeon says, case mod in, cut it up, Mike's unboxing, add clown skull to the front. Oh no! No, 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 no. Papa Mav says, there's someone else I know. Hello, Mr. Underhill. Yes, it's like a good old community here, isn't it? There's lots of people come and go because they have life to live. Life's to live. But they all come back eventually. Well, apart from the ones that don't come back. Yeah, James Miscellaneous has been in now and then. But
Recently.
He has got a super, super busy life and schedule now. And also, he is on the other side of the world, sort of. So I totally understand it. And I will let him off just this once. Not again, though.
Right. See if you can summon ClickTech Kev.
Yeah. Actually, there used to be a thing, right? ClickTech Kev, of the ClickTech Kev YouTube channel, used to be so easy to summon. All I have to mention is like boobs. And it just pop up in the chat all of a sudden. Like, hey everybody, how you doing? Wonder if that's going to work tonight. Boobs. Feel free to say it in the chat as well. That might summon him up. It's like conjuring up who's the dude you say his name in the mirror 3 times and he appears? Candyman. It's like summoning up the Candyman. Just say boobs 3 times and Kev will appear. I can hear a cat. Oh, they know.
Don't take.
Hey.
It just speaks for Liz. I'll speak back to you as well.
Right, let's move this out of the way before I damage it. See, arm is working. We're in good stead. Mike, are those 200mm front fans? No, they're actually weirdly only 140mm. They look bigger, but because it's a micro ATX case, yeah, it's easy to kind of assume that they are bigger than what they actually are. It's weird. Aletta says boobs where? See, we've summoned up the boob princess herself. Aletta. Good stuff. Yeah.
69, so you might get ugly Bob back.
Yeah. Oh dear. Right.
I think as
go on.
well, everyone's names has changed. There is a lot of the same people in, isn't there? But their name.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
usernames-
People's usernames change. The
Something
you don't
did.
always see it. YouTube did a thing a while back. Yeah.
Otis off the keyboard, baby.
So I just read something. Oh yeah. The gentleman bad boy says the GT error code people come and go and never come back. We've had some. Oh, there's been some fun times really. There's an error with. It's not GTA, is it? It's actually it might be with Rockstar Games. If you buy like an account or cheat or do various things like or let someone else use your account, you can get banned quite easily, and it can be either a game ban, a IP ban, or an account ban, depending on the severity of what's happened. But somebody posted on Reddit that there's a fix for the error code 1007 error, which basically means that you can't sign in. But the reason you can't sign in is probably because your account's been banned, permabanned, game banned, or whatever. But also, it potentially could be fixed by doing things like making sure your PC time is right, making sure you're in the right region, you're not using a VPN, sometimes firewall settings. So there's lots of things which can prevent you from being able to log in correctly to the Rockstar servers. But yeah, someone posted on Reddit that somebody on Mike's Unboxing, potentially me, but I'm not sure, actually was able to fix the problem. Now, we've never been able to actually ascertain, big word, what the actual fix was. We gave like multiple suggestions to this dude or dudette of what to do, and we don't know which actually worked because it never came back up in the subject. Obviously, something worked and they just scooted off into the sunset and played their games. But they posted then on Reddit that they found a fix on the Mike's Unboxing Discord server. So every day or two, or every couple of days, we get someone coming into the chat saying, I saw on Reddit you know how to fix the Rockstar 1007 error message. It was like, oh God. So we have actually pinned in the tech support, or I think in the general chat, the actual fixes which were suggested initially. So if you are suffering from the problem and you're watching this for some bizarre reason, yeah, go to our Discord and look in the pinned messages in the general chat, and it should be in there. If not, it'll be in one of the tech support rooms, or just search for Rockstar or error 10.0.7 and it should come up for you. And more importantly, if you're watching this and you are the person which we actually fixed the problem for, please, for the love of God, tell us what the fix actually was, so then we can tell these people that come in, so we don't have to go through the whole rigmarole every single time. As funny as it is, it's going to get very tiresome very soon, I fear. Especially if the post gains more momentum, which could be problematic for us. So yeah, it's a weird one. And if anyone actually watching has got any information on the Rockstar login error 1007, please feel free to diverge your information, because we need all the help we can get. Yeah, normally it's to do with dodgy accounts, bought accounts, or just hacks. So that is generally how that Rockstar error comes up. But it can also come up, like I said, if you're in the wrong time zone, your PC time's wrong, you're using a VPN, yeah, those kinds of things. Papa Mab says, I have not bought any computer parts since June 2024. We should get you one of those little tokens, you know, like they give to alcoholics. You can have a PC-aholic token.
PC-aholic.
Almost 2 years clean. Hayden says you probably won't hear from them now. You're right. You're absolutely right. Should we do that? Now that the PC industry is completely basically screwed, shall we get some Mike's Unboxing, I survived the RAM Apocalypse tokens, and we'll have a 1 year and a 2 year one, and see who manages to go the longest before they fold and buy some RAM.
You failed already then.
I failed, yeah.
RAM addict.
David Andrell. Hi, my name is BFT and I am a PC parts addict. Yeah, definitely. Just have a look at the chat there. Right. Samrab says you should put that on Mub t-shirts. I do need to do some of those. I do need to do some of those t-shirts to go through that again. Hayden says, yep, sounds good. Hard times with DDR5, DDR6 will be out by the time it gets any better. I don't know if it's going to get any better. Not anytime soon. It's all looking a little bit shit, to be fair. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think I'm gonna show, against my better judgment, I'm gonna show Rasher's comment there. Our local off-license owner was arrested last week for having oral sex with a woman in a shop. He got away with it though because he had a liquor license. Hey.
Explain it to me.
Explain it to you. Well, when a mummy bear and a daddy bear love each other very much.
Oh, little Mason.
Oh dear, bless your hearts. Right, I think that's going to wrap this stream up. Massive shout out to everybody who's contributed and just turned up. Bless your hearts, you're all fantastic. And thank you to the extreme generosity of some of you with these super chats. It is extremely generous of you. Thank you very much. Kath and I are off now to have our birthday weekend. So Kath's doing that in the background.
I'm not.
You can tell she's lying because her mouth's moving. Her mouth.
I've only got one mouth.
Her mouth's moving. We are going to go off now and enjoy our birthday weekend type thing. So we will be back here same time next week, next Saturday, and there will be normal videos out on this week coming. We're not taking any time off or anything, so there are videos stacked up. So please feel free to watch them, like them, and share them. That is very important. And also for the algorithm, leave a comment as detailed as possible, but not too detailed, because I do answer them all, or at least I try to. So, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing, Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Say bye, Kath.
Bye, and thanks for all the birthday wishes.
There you go. She says thanks for the birthday wishes, and so do I. I will be older this week. Take care, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.